You should salam. They're in good to say. Say to me, have my life wonderful. Jasmine, you should salam. Father and good to say. I'm going to free you, Genie. I ran away, and I am not going back. And I am not going back. You should. I ran away, and I am not going back.
Let's make some magic!
There's this girl.
I've never
Fun party rock that says someday a blue.
been good to say.
Time in my life without you.
I've never
Fun party rock that says someday a blue.
been good to say.
I ran away, and I am not going back. And I am not going back.
You should.
I ran away, and I am not going back. And I am not going back.
It's fine. Just play along. Say to me,
Have my life wonderful.
time in my you should salam.
Father and good to say.
Say to me,
Have my life wonderful.
time in my you should salam.
Father and good to say. Never done. I've never
Fun party rock that says someday a blue.
been good to say. Never done. I've never
Fun party rock that says someday a blue.
been good to say.
A wondrous place for you and
Me! That's who!
Goodbye. Thank you. Goodbye.
Come on now, man.
To the well, I need to there. We are standing by the issue there. I need to there. We are standing by the issue there. You must be kind, you must be witty. Jane and Michael, thanks.
I feel a surge of deep satisfaction. I does what I likes and I likes what I do. I does what I likes and I likes.
Thank you, most interesting.
I does what I likes and I likes what I do. I does what I likes and I likes. I does what
I likes and I likes what I do. I does what I likes and I likes what I do. All right. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing tonight? So I have been having issues with audio. So I'm hoping I don't continue to run into said issues. All right. So how can everybody how's everybody doing? Can everybody hear? Audio good? Audio good? Audio great? Jim's actually been telling me we were doing some interviews and I was having issues with this. So it wasn't the mic. I'm trying to figure out what the problem actually is. I think it's a cable somewhere. But you guys let me know how everything sounds. So yeah, everything sounds good. Cabled, awesome. All right. So we're just gonna get started here. It's Friday night. How's everybody doing? So this weekend is actually what is it? Magic Philly. There's something going on in Philadelphia tonight for Magic. There's a pretty big convention. So that is nowhere close to me. But I've been hearing about it for a while. So hopefully those who are there are enjoying themselves. Do you use some kind of virtual audio mixer? Cabled? No, I don't use a virtual mixer. I actually have a physical. I've got a physical mixer. Yeah, here, you know what? Here, I'll show you. You'll be able to see it here in a minute. So let's do this for you real quick. Let me go back here. So you guys can see what I'm dealing with. Yeah. We'll go this. All right. So my physical mixer is actually right here. You guys can like literally see everything here. So yeah, the physical board is here, and there's like, I don't know. There's quite a few outputs that I have. The main bus gets output via USB, but also I have it also gets output via physical cable. So I have my ATEM switchers over here. So I do have an audio. I do have one of those cables going into there, and then another one going into the computer. But I also have I can group it. So I've got a couple of different groups if I only want certain things to be sending to certain places. So it's pretty cool. It is super, super helpful, but it can get really confusing. It's very logical. It's very logical, but if you don't know what you're doing, well, I shouldn't say, because guys, I don't know what I'm doing half the time, but I can figure it out, right? Everything is super. It's very logical. So as long as I can break it down and understand what's happening and what's going on, then I'll be okay. And that's honestly, it's all I need to do half the time anyway. So let me get everything else set up. And then actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the music going a little bit. I can send the video link. I have one more round, and then I can all right. So we've got quite a few things. All right. So cabled. I used to have really bad issues with my audio going through Discord, but oh man, it does it like that. I used to have really bad issues with my audio going through Discord, but on my end, it was perfectly fine. I actually found a solution. Had to set an audio task manager to high priority and to one CPU. Yeah, that for the most part, that's not my issue. But yeah, because a lot of times what'll happen is if you're using an external soundboard or any sort of external DAC, what you can the issue you can run into is you can just be hearing the monitor. So you're hearing you're monitoring the sound, you're monitoring everything that's going through, and then you're not actually getting the true sound that's being broadcast. So that sounds like the thing that you were running into as well. Want to make sure I'm not missing anything here. Knive, I've got one more round and then I can jump on. Just give me an hour and a half. Oh, we'll be here, Knive. We'll be here. Cabled, I can send the video link. That helped me. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, it's just so cabled. Again, my issue normally is because I have, and issues are going to get compounded when you have 25 different things going on, and that is normally the issue. So the board that I have, it's called MG12XU, so it has 12 separate inputs, and then each input can have an auxiliary output. You can send it to a group, so the group bus. Then you have your stereo output, but it also has an effects bus. So there's a lot going on there that you can send stuff to. So yeah, guys, Friday night. How's everybody's Friday? How has everyone's week been? It's been it's been a crazy, crazy week. But I want to know how everybody's week's been going and kind of what's been going on. Lee says, insane. You tell me, tell me about it, dude. It has been it's been like super insane, man. So here's what we're going to do. All right. So tonight's about Lorcana. All right. Tonight is about Lorcana. Now, want to know again? I shot out a text earlier. If there's any Lorcana content creators, I posted in the Lorcana HQ Discord. Let me actually check that Discord right now. See if there's anything. If anyone's posted anything, or if anyone's looking for anything from me in particular. Yeah. So if you're a Lorcana content creator. Oh, it's Tyler Pry. What's up, Tyler? Always a good week when Lorcana shows a new card. It is. Tyler, we hung out with your friends, man. We hung out with your friends on Monday, and they tried ditching us last week, man. They said they had a power outage. Okay, yeah, whatever that means. Now, I should also point out, chat, everyone, remember, okay, Jim should be showing up tonight, so I'm actually gonna let me message him real quick, and let him know. Cabled, I'm not a Lorcana content creator yet. I had to do the I had to get that. Was that did I give you enough did I give enough what's what I'm looking for? Oomph, huzzah. Did I put enough into that? Probably not. That's all right. Let's see. So let's go over here, Jim. Here we go. Pizzazz. Thank you, Lee. Oh, look, guys, we've got Princess Aurora in chat. We've got Princess Aurora in chat here. Hang on. Swing by tonight. All right, cool. Let me pull it up real quick. It's Princess Aurora. Princess Aurora. Hello, it's me. Real quick, also, everybody, going back to audio, let me know the audio level for the sound. I want to know how that sounds. Let me know if that's good, too high, too low. What do we think? I obviously don't want it too high, but want to make sure. Okay. Last thing, again, Lorcana content creators, hop in the Lorcana HQ Discord. If you want to stop by the stream tonight, check in, say hello. Let me know. Check, and then we'll get you. I'll get you the link kind of where you need to go. All right. So with that being said, Geeks First says, I am looking to begin to start some coverage in Lorcana. I'm hesitant, but the game looks interesting based on super limited info. Keyword there. Super limited info. I will say this, and I know I'm the one who says it all the time. Super limited, guys. We don't know how to play the game. And to all you people saying, we know this and we know that, you don't know jack diddly squat. All right. Maybe you know like a thing or two or three that you can very easily deduce from certain information, but you don't know. All right. I had my fun. Here, this is a good point. Okay. And Lee makes a good point, but speculation is so much fun. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. For the most, in all honesty, guys, and I say this to a lot of people, it's very interesting because, like, for me, I don't find speculation all that fun. And again, fun, just like everything is super subjective, right? I don't find it a lot of fun. Like let me rephrase it a little bit. Not a ton of fun. Like doing it like here and there, sure. But like when it's just speculation all the time and you're going, I don't know. It's just not me. It's not for me. But again, not me. Other people enjoy it quite a lot. Guys, go for it, dude. Do what you love, man. 100% speculation for sport, Lee. 100%. Absolutely. Just like so many other things. Crackling. I will cable. I'll take a look at that video. I'm gonna take a look at that video later, and I'll see if I'm gonna see if that applies in my situation. Because want to learn. Princess Aurora says my favorite Beatles album is Sgt. Pepper's. All right. We're gonna get into some news. So this week we have a couple things. We've got a couple of reveals this week. Okay. We're gonna get a couple reveals as I'm pulling this stuff up. You all know, guys, you know, if you are in Twitter, if you're in the know, you know. So you let me know what you think. Throw it in chat. You let me know what you think of these reveals, because I have thoughts, and I'm gonna do a separate video on everything too. But for me, I wanted this to be kind of the place where, I talked about it first. And I know others have done other videos, which except today, like today's was, I don't know what, like 2 hours ago, like literally like 2 hours ago. So was not expecting today. But today I think does confirm some things. I do think it confirms some things. Geeks First said, I'll speculate when it's more than a grain of sand on the beach, but I mean, this slow trickle is either brilliant or a sign that Ravensburger has no idea. Time will tell. I'm like, I am right there. Man, it's so hard, dude. It's so hard to know. But in all honesty, like, I think they know what they're doing. I 100% think they know what they're doing, because they're trying to keep the community and everyone interested long enough until big reveals. Big reveals being number one, gameplay / rules, like how you play the game, okay, what the game's all about. Like, that's, to me, that's big reveal number one. That is going to be a huge reveal, right? But there's only going to be a couple big reveals, and that is one of them. Cabled says Magic Mirror is too hard to judge, but I think it's a little better than people give credit. Too hard without knowing the resource system and how much extra we have on turns. That's literally what I've been saying. Here's what I'm personally not a huge fan of. Okay, what's up, Rico? I'm not a huge fan of when we have limited information. Okay, we don't know how the game works. We don't know anything about research. Like, we literally don't know we don't know how to play anything. Everything up to now has been speculation and deduction, right? And most of the deductions that have happened, I don't think are necessarily wrong, right? I think everything that has been speculated on, or excuse me, deduced, what I mean by meaning cost, attack, defense, those are like the three things that really have been deduced, because that's really what can be deduced for the most part. Because again, I think we've all played these card games long enough to know what's what, right? So that being said, I think all of that is spot on. All that stuff is 100% correct, is right. We don't have confirmation. Okay. So me, right, the way that I like to approach it is we are assuming, because we don't have confirmation. I do not like this is how things are going to work. And I know it gets the clicks. I get it. I know. I'm old. I'm old. I'm curmudgeon-y. Geeks First says, I mean, right now you may win by summoning a cow to the field and selling the milk to the store, then building a corporate empire. Oh wait, mix up my IPs. Nope, same IP. Because what's Disney? But in all seriousness, that's pretty funny though, bro. What are we then? What are we? What? Rico, what are you even talking about, my guy? I don't know. T Giraffe 60. I'm most intrigued in learning what legendary cards are, if they're gonna be that. My thing, because I'm gonna say this and then we're gonna get to the reveals quick. So I was listening to Lorcana Cast, one of their podcasts today. Shout out Sugi. Man, what were they even? Oh, they were talking about like shifting in multiple creatures or whatever, because they were talking about the Aurora card. And what if you had two Auroras on field? I'm like, bro, there's no way I do not think you're going to have two of the exact same type of character on your board. On a player's board, it does not make sense. Okay. It doesn't happen in Magic. It doesn't happen in Pokemon. It makes sense, right? Because again, Pokemon are basically like animals, right? You can have 20 different Pikachu because a Pikachu is a rat. You can have 20 rats. No knock on Pikachu, but Pikachu's an electric mouse, right? So again, everything is speculation, but I would be willing to speculate and bet that, again, talking about Aurora, for instance, you can only have one Aurora with that exact name, the exact name on your field. Yes. And Nintendo, speaking of Princess Aurora, she loves her Nintendo, and Pink Floyd. She loves Pink Floyd too. So, all right, that being said, let's get into it here. Once I remember how to share my screen, here we go. All right, first thing, we're gonna go this way here. Magic Mirror. Magic Mirror is again 2-cost item where there's nothing else that can be. I mean, I guess in theory it could be anything else, but I think that is a pretty good speculation as to what that is, right? 2-cost item, Magic Mirror. It is purple. I don't remember what the colors are. I'll get it down at some point, but right now I don't remember what they are. So it's purple, has the ability Speak. You tap it and you pay 4 to draw a card. Okay. So here's what I said. Okay. I said this could be good. This could be really bad. It could be so-so. Because again, we don't have any context to go off of. So with no context, it's card draw. It's consistent card draw, assuming every turn. Okay. And the reason I say that is we're going to assume that there's going to be a refresh phase. Okay. Where when it goes to your turn, you will untap or unexhaust, unexert, whatever the term's going to be. I mean, we know the term's exert. You're going to have that at the beginning of your turn, assuming that. Okay. So the initial cost is 2. Whether that's going to be good or not, we don't really know. Okay. We don't know. We have some context, right? Because we have all the other cards that have been spoiled. But again, less than 10%. Okay. I think right now we're at like 8%. All right. So you tap it, pay that 2 initial cost. Okay. And then again, it's a 2 cost, do nothing. And then you have to also tap it and pay 4. One thing I will say is I think they missed an opportunity here, where they have the 4 and then the hexagon, right? Why is the 4 not inside it? To me, that would have made more sense, because then you're also potentially saving space on the card. Maybe that's what I would think. But again, that's just a templating thing, and that's just how Ravensburger decided to template it, right? So it is what it is. So again, we're assuming tap, pay 4, draw card. So you got to put a total of 6 resources into it to draw 1 card. Is 1 card going to be worth 6 resources? Time will tell, because again, we're looking at this way out of context. Way out of context. We don't know. I guess I shouldn't say way out of context, because again, like I did mention, we do have context here. You know what? Also, hey, Lee, Sneaky Lee, can you guys share this link in the Lorcana HQ content channel, just to let people know it's there, whether YouTube, Twitch, whatever. I think I know most people do YouTube, so that's fine. Thanks, Lee. Appreciate that. So that was my initial take. I'm like, it could be meh, but it could be really good. But for the most part, I think everyone in the community is not super high on the card. I know Jonty said it looks like draft shaft, which again, within the context of all the other card games that we know, I would agree. I would 100% agree. It's just we don't know. It's the thing. We don't know. And you know what? A lot of people, like you guys, everyone's having a lot of fun with that. They really are. I know I mentioned earlier that I'm not a huge speculation guy, but people are having a lot of fun with it. They're having a lot of fun with the speculation. So, yeah, that's Magic Mirror. Now, oh boy, this is going to be interesting. I can say it. It's Lorcaniac. There we go. Got it. First try. I think you need to think of it as 10 for +1. Right, because there's no actual value until then. Exactly. You pay 2, and that's a 2. That's a 2-0. Oh, it's Sneaky. What are you doing with all these different handles, Sneaky? Oh my goodness, you're making it so confusing. But yes, no, I agree. I 100% agree. You pay 2 and you do nothing. It's a pay 2, do nothing, right? You're not getting a benefit until you put an additional 4 costs into it, right? And then if there's some type of removal, okay, like let's assume, let's say this was Magic, right? In order to do it, you pay the 2 to put it out on board, right? It's out on board. So if my opponent is playing that, I'm not doing anything just yet. You wait until he attempts to put an additional 4 into it, and then if there's a point where you can interrupt that, once they've paid that cost and try to do something else, and then you destroy it for them to potentially not draw that card. But again, if it was Magic, once they did that action, it would go on the stack, and then they'd be able to draw it. But oh, that's why you're on the wrong profile. So confusing. Oh my goodness, dude. Holy cow. Oh, what are you trying to do to me? Okay, and now what I need to do, my bad. So now we've got this other card. This other card that was dropped today. Exactly. Lee's like very, very sneaky. Sneaky. Lee lives up to his name. Goodness gracious. So let's go to share screen again. I think I just want to do an entire screen. That'll probably make things easier for me. Yeah. So, all right, here we go. This was today. Healing Glow. Also, I got to shout out Liam. All right. And I'll do that in a second. All right. We're going to watch. We're going to watch Liam's video, okay? All right, Healing Glow. It's a 1 cost. It is Amber. I got it. Amber. It's a 1 cost amber or yellow action called Healing Glow. Remove up to 2 damage from chosen character. You know what that means. And this is one that I think we can honestly say with we're certain we know what this means. Okay. I think this is basically confirmation that damage is persistent. So we've got persistent damage. Okay. I think it means we have persistent damage, which is not all that surprising. It's not all that surprising because this is something that has been speculated on by plenty of people in the community, and it's not abnormal. It's not super abnormal either. We have persistent damage in Pokemon. Pokemon's one. Not Yu-Gi-Oh. Yu-Gi-Oh does not have persistent damage. Yeah, Pokemon is the only one that's coming to my mind. Versus System has persistent damage. Yes, Keyforge. I'm pretty sure Keyforge has it as well. It's a super bad card. Well, yes, correct. Sneaky does say it's a super bad card if damage isn't persistent. And honestly, this card would not be printed if damage was not persistent, right? I mean, can anyone, like literally anyone in chat, can anyone tell me if this would be a card if damage was not persistent? I mean, I don't think we had a card like that. All right, Joey does tell me yes, Keyforge does have it as well. Okay. So yeah, I think this is all but confirmation, right? This is confirmation without getting exact confirmation. By that I mean this is confirmation without Lorcana saying, yes, guys, damage is persistent, right? And that's the confirmation that I want. Right? Yeah, you could. So Sneaky does make a point. Says it could read prevent 2 damage, but again, it doesn't say prevent 2 damage, right? Right? It does say remove, right? Which again, if you have a game where you don't have persistent damage, it's basically, to me, it's all or none. If you're going to give me a prevent damage, it's going to be prevent all damage, because in mostly it's being designed and balanced around that, right? It's being designed and balanced around characters, creatures being able to destroy each other in combat, right? Princess Aurora, I do as well. Princess Aurora says, I hope I am in the next Smash Brothers. I do too. Oh, guys, we have the man himself, I guess, the other half of Hobbies and Happiness. What's up, Jim? What's up, man?
Oh, hey there. You're never gonna believe what I just did.
Hang on. Dang it. Why does it do that to me?
Is it working?
All right, here's what we're going to do, guys, because I can't hear anybody. So here's what we're going to do. Is Jim, are you talking?
Yes.
All right, there you go. Give me 1 second. So We're going to do, you're going there. You're actually going to go there. You're actually going to go there. And there we go. Now try it.
Hi.
There we go. Cool.
Okay, cool.
Did my audio change at all?
No.
Okay, cool. Jim, I would like to introduce you to somebody. Princess Aurora says hello, Jim.
Oh my goodness, dude. Is that the Princess Aurora?
Yep.
Aurora Borealis?
Aurora. No, dude, it's Sleeping Beauty, okay? Oh my goodness. Now,
Who?
it's Sleeping Beauty. Oh my word. Do you not know anything about Disney?
My mistake.
Oh, dude.
Is that the one with the 7 dwarves?
Oh my gosh. What have I done? What have I done?
Cricket noise. Dude, we need to get a cricket noises sound.
Well, yeah, I need that's exactly what I need to do. So what's up, dude? What's up, man? How was your week?
The week was, what's today? Friday? Pretty,
yeah, dude, it's Friday.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Got my new schedule at work.
And
4 to 12.
4 p.m. Oh, 4 a.m. All right, cool. Yeah, that's not cool. That's going straight there. That's going straight there. There we go. Yeah. So, all right. So, anything else exciting happened for you?
No, not really.
I think that is a no. So we were talking about persistent damage. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I saw the card, the healing globe thing.
Yeah, the healing glow, right? Warlock also says Hearthstone. That was another one that has persistent damage. Can you think of any other games that have persistent damage in it? Because we have Pokemon. We got Pokemon, Hearthstone, everything else. Oh, Versus System is another one. Keyforge. Are there any others that you can think of that have persistent damage?
Off the top of my head, no.
Yeah, me neither.
I wouldn't have even thought of some of those that you went off on, but there could be.
Yeah, it could be. So
Ashes?
Ashes, yes. Yeah. Oh, Joey says Genesis. Genesis apparently does. Which
Decks and Droughts.
Yeah, yep, it's Decks and Droughts. I'm looking at him in the green room. I want to see it. I want to Decks and Droughts. There we go. It's like making that face.
That's a lot of dots.
All right. We're gonna get Lee. We're gonna get Mr. Lee Barbs in here. All right. I want to get his takes on some stuff. So here he is, ladies and gentlemen. It's your friend, your foe, if he's your foe. What's up, Lee?
What's up, Jim? What's up, Dan? How you guys doing?
What's up, dude? How's it going?
Fantastic.
All right. Magic mirror on the wall. What does Lee think of Magic Mirror? And after that, Jim, I want to get your take on it. So go ahead, Lee.
I don't know, man. 4 seems kind of expensive to draw 1 card, but we don't really have a lot to. Yeah, we don't have a lot to put it up against. It could be great.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Could you pull up the card again for me? I don't really remember it.
I can do that.
I think it's like 4 tap it.
Yeah, so it costs 2. We're gonna do. Oh wait, I want window. My bad. It costs 2 to put it on board, right? Or at least that's what we're assuming.
Yeah.
Cost 2 to put it on board, tap it, and pay 4 to draw. So your first draw costs you 6. There's been some other, again, thinking about it in Magic terms, right? I pulled up quite a few other cards, and I can pull them up here in a little bit. Yeah, and Joey does make a comment. It says, given how many things are like 4 minus 4, 5, 6, it sounds like the game is very much expecting you to have resources. 100%. And everyone is, we're still curious, how are we getting those resources?
Mm-hmm.
That's the big thing right now. So, what, Jim, when you see this card, what's your initial take?
Literal trash.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
My God.
Absolute trash.
All right, but that's coming from Magic, okay?
I know.
I'm thinking
I know,
Magic cards.
exactly.
We don't know anything about this game, dude.
Right. So again, that's literally what I said the first time I saw it. I'm like, all right, if this was a Magic card, nobody would be playing this.
Yeah, no one would play this.
You wouldn't even play it in limited, probably.
Yeah,
you would never play this.
Yeah, in limited, maybe.
If you had to, maybe.
Right.
Gun to your head, but yeah.
And the point that I was making, right, is card draw is never a bad thing, right? Card draw is never a bad thing. And if this is your only
Unless
card,
it's too expensive, that's a bad thing.
But if this is your only card in like the whole game that draws you a card, then I mean it's probably going to be at a premium potentially, right? Potentially. But yeah, what else could you be doing for 4, right? So yeah, that's Magic Mirror. Now, Jim, since we've got you, let's get your initial take. What was your initial take on Healing Glow?
Oh, the Healing Glow
from your favorite movie. From your favorite movie.
What movie is this? All right, it looks like Healing Hair. Okay,
yeah, it's
Tangled.
Yeah.
I'd never seen this.
Okay, never mind. My bad.
Yeah, I mean it.
Jim's like,
it's a reverse shock. Like I mean, like the cost is there.
Jim's like, Dan, this is the first time I've ever seen this card, so give me a minute, dude.
Yeah, it's true. It is. I haven't seen it.
The one thing
looks like it's sorcery speed.
Oh, again, that's what we don't know, because again, actions, we don't know if actions are going to be able to be played on your opponent's turn. Which, if that's the case, then that's going to be, I mean, obviously, instant speed's always better. Instant speed's always better.
If it's sorcery, this card's terrible. I think.
Okay, Joey has some pushback, so we're gonna get Joey in here in a little bit, but
bring him in.
We'll bring him in one second. We'll bring him in 1 second. Before that, let's get Sneaky in here. What's up, Sneaky?
Yo.
So, give us your initial quick takes on Magic Mirror and Healing Glow. What's your initial takes?
So I'm with most people where when I first saw Magic Mirror, I was like, well, this is trash. It's just really expensive coming from, whatever other standards we have to judge it by. But like thinking about it some more, there could be a lot more depth to it that we're not really like paying attention to or realizing. Like, for example, they might put a premium on the fact that it's an item card because maybe there's just not very much item destruction in the game, so it's just going to sit there, and so because it's a safe, consistent draw, it costs more. Or maybe draw is like a tertiary aspect of Amethyst, so it's more expensive because it's an Amethyst card than if it was in, say, Sapphire. So there's just so many fears that we just don't know. But also, like I think what Joe was talking about earlier, is how quickly do we ramp? Like, is there going to be? Are we expected to get to 8 resources in like 3 turns? And then if we draw a 1-cost card, like if we don't have a resource dump, we just lost tons of tempo. So we might as well have something to dump it into. So there's just too many factors we just don't know. But it does seem very expensive and very difficult to get value out of, because like earlier, like, and to drop 10 resources on it, you don't get any value out of it. It's a loss of tempo up until that point.
Well, 6. Oh, okay. No, right. Because once you pay 6, you're just replacing the card in your hand.
Yeah.
Understood.
Yeah. And yeah, so I'm really interested to see like how all those different things shake out, and whether it is just like a random piece of draft trash or if it's actually valuable or not. As far as healing hands, I'm super stoked, because I think healing is going to be like a really cool aspect of this game that you don't really get with a bunch of others. Like we talked about, like the ones with persistent damage we could list was very small, and so adding in this extra little aspect to it, I think could be pretty cool, because it's something not a lot of people are going to be familiar with and when working around. And yeah, like Jim said, it's a reverse shock.
Yeah. But I mean, again, in thinking about it like Pokemon, I mean, there's plenty of item cards that heal damage counters, correct? Or
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'm saying like outside of Pokemon, like
sure,
most of the big name games that people are playing like aren't persistent.
Well, again, because in those games you're dealing with systems that are life point based, and your health is that resource, right? So this seems like it is going to be much more involved with your characters essentially. So yeah.
And I think this also further confirms, or not confirms, but supports the idea that there's not going to be a player health pool, because it would make way more sense for it to heal the player if there was. Right.
Yeah, that is true. So what? Oh, look, Lee's got a cat. Lee's got a cat right down there. Lee, what is that in the bottom left of your screen?
That little guy right there.
Yeah, what?
that little guy. That's the D23 set that I have, or the sleeve it came in at least. They're in top loaders. Yeah.
Gotcha. Understood. That makes sense. Okay. Very. So
he's just subtly showing off,
flexing a little bit.
The subtle flex.
Yeah. So you've got the complete set.
I don't have the Mickey. I don't have BLT, but I have.
Because you weren't there.
Yeah. Right. Yep.
Understood.
I thought you were going to say you sold it.
No.
I mean.
Okay. Now, honestly, do you guys think that the value of that set's going to go down once the set is out, or do you think that collector set is going to maintain its value?
I have no idea.
Jim, what do you think?
I think short term it'll drop a little bit, but I think then over time it'll creep back up.
You think it'll get back to where it was? Like where it is currently,
depending on how well this game goes and how long it goes, it'll go even beyond it.
Way beyond.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're gonna bring in Mr. Dexon Droughts himself.
Dexon Droughts.
And we're gonna keep saying that. We're just gonna keep saying Dexon Droughts. Oh, there he is.
Oh, speak of the devil.
What's up?
Well, if it weren't live, a finger, I think. Oh my god.
What's up, Joey?
Look,
I have to come, guys.
We're sorry at least a little bit.
All right. So, Joey, I want to get your initial takes on Magic Mirror and Healing Glow. So you said you put something in chat. We'll bring it up for those that didn't see it. I don't think I agree that this is bad. This being Magic Mirror. Purple also has Elsa, who seems to be control. So purple is slow opponent plus card draw. That's a soft combination. One color. It's basically blue. So can you expand on that a little bit for us, Joey?
All right. So blue and Magic is like counter spells like crazy, draw like crazy, and then Merfolk. for reasons.
We don't talk about them.
We don't talk about them here.
But I mean, the idea is that I'm going to slow you down, and then with the time that I've gained slowing you down, I'm also going to speed myself up.
Mhm.
That's kind of what it is. Now you mirror that with the fact that there is persistent damage. It means that it's not just, I can build a board state that I can hang behind, which means during my turns, assuming that we're assuming we're playing it the Magic way, I'm going to have resources that aren't doing much, maybe. Especially, yeah. So that's kind of how I'm seeing it. It looks like purple's kind of built of it's a tempo control-y kind of thing.
Right.
I still cannot get over the fact that like 4, 5, and 6 seems to be like a common number, where Magic it's like 2, 3. So
Right.
I feel like resources are I feel like resources can be real simple, like a lot easier to acquire for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know. And if not, if not, then it does really suck. But it also makes me really just question how close to Magic this thing's gonna be.
Right.
Like if it's Magic but it's persistent damage instead of not, okay. Like, because right now, like from speculation, if you speculate, it's no life total, persistent damage, the end.
Right.
As far as like the theme of the speculation of the rules.
Right. I mean, I saw, so for those that haven't seen it, DM Armada, Steven, put out a video, I think it was I don't know if it was last week or early this week. I don't know, have any of you guys, who's played Keyforge?
I have. Oh god.
Lee, have you played Keyforge?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, I've played it. Sorry, I was.
No, you're good.
You know what I do?
You're doing the droughts part of your name. Guys, it's decks and drafts, okay? It's decks and drafts. Decks and drafts. But for some reason, he decided to spell it AUGHT.
I told you the reason.
I know.
We're just trying to be like, and if you go check out our video,
you'll
find out why.
You'll know why it was spelled that way. And why it wasn't cards and crafts.
It was a plug.
Anyway, yeah, I haven't seen DM's reverse engineer. I think he's reverse engineering. I haven't quite seen them, so I don't quite know the connection he's making with Keyforge.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, it was the video was, I saw it a little bit ago. But it reminded me. So Keyforge, essentially what Keyforge is, the win condition is you are be the first player to gain 3 keys. Okay. So Keyforge essentially is a race. Okay. Jim and I played it. Jim didn't really like the game. Correct,
I
Jim,
hated my deck,
if you remember.
It's okay.
What's that, Jim?
I said I hated my deck. It just was so awkward and didn't work together. I'm like, no.
But also,
you just need to play it a billion times, Jim, and then you're going to master the pilot, because that's how Keyforge sold people. It didn't.
I'm busy that day.
So like I enjoyed it. I enjoyed my deck, and I enjoyed playing it, right? And when we talked with Steven with Team Covenant, he tried selling us on the game, which it's a good sell, right? And the sell basically is you don't have to worry about building a deck. You show up, you have your deck, you completely eliminate the deck building process from everybody, so it's a much lower barrier to entry, and then you just show up, play your deck, and then there you go. But for people like Jim, you are eliminating the most fun part of the game, correct? Yeah. So like that cuts both ways. Hello, Ebby. How are you? So yeah, it cuts both ways, but I mean, anytime we're lowering the barrier to entry, I'm always, I like that. I'm always here for it. So, Sneaky, you said you have not played Keyforge, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Actually, I actually disagree that it lowered the barrier of entry. I actually think it increased it to $10 a deck, $10 a game. Because if you got something that just didn't function, that whole thing is worthless. The entire thing is worthless. You opened up a $10 batch of nothing that you can't even pull away from.
Right. But I will say this though. Yes, you paid $10, but the amount of time it took you to think about it and spend that $10 versus I have to think about this deck that I'm going to build, that time is completely minimized and taken away. So you could theoretically, and I get where you're coming from, 100%. You could end up theoretically spending an extra $100 until you find something that actually works. But the time it took you to get to that $100 is a much shorter time in theory than you would have spent trying to build out your deck. Research.
Yeah, I mean, under that logic, I'll pick a game that has a $15 to $20 starter deck, go buy that, have the same exact effect, and if I don't like it, I can at least reuse the cards.
Well, that's exactly. Like, again, I'm evaluating from the standpoint of time spent, right?
Okay. I've got like a really dark history with Keyforge, so I won't go too far into it. That's gonna turn the whole stream into.
Do you need to talk?
No. So we'll talk off stream because I'm curious, dude. Like that entire, for those of you that haven't watched our interview with Joey, go watch it. Jim and I commented after we got done with that interview. Joey, would we talk for another 30 minutes?
Oh yeah,
we could have gone on for another 2 hours.
I had to turn this on, which I'm going to have to turn this on anyway at some point.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Steggy comments, and he says, with 60 cards, my guess is that the resource system is something you add like mana and magic and energy in Pokemon. I agree. What do you guys think? Lee, what do you think? When it comes to resources, do you think they're going to be a part of your deck they're going to have to add?
Yeah, I think with the 60 card deck size that, unfortunately, we are going to have deck-based resources, which I was really hoping we weren't going to have. And, I mean, obviously still speculation, but it looks like we're going to have inks shuffled into our decks. That's what it looks like to me, at least.
Sneaky, what do you think?
I think we're going to have a separate resource deck. It says 60 cards. Doesn't say where they're at.
It's true.
Jim, what do you think? I know you don't know, but what's your best guess? And what would you like to see?
Do we know what those little crystal things on the cards are? The diamonds?
Lore. We know they're called lore. We know it's called lore.
Yep, lore. Yep.
We know.
All right, we know what those are.
We know it's called lore. We don't know what they do, but they're called lore.
And they lead us into victory and stuff. So it's the win. It's the win con. That's what we know.
We're pretty sure.
I don't know if I can agree that it's a win con. I don't actually think it is.
Did they say it leads you to victory?
Yeah, based off of the text on the flavor text, mind you, on both Mulan and Hades, it leads you to believe that it is a victory.
I'll pull it up in a second for you, Jim.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I guess the flavor, but like Mulan. So the thing that
Mulan doesn't have
the idea
text.
that the pips are the win condition is Mulan's actual text.
Here, so let's get this on screen for people, okay?
The gift box flavor blurb.
Oh yeah, okay.
All right. Okay. So here's Mulan. Mulan says her ability says lead by example. During your turn, whenever this character banishes another character in a challenge, your other characters get +1 lore this turn.
And then cross-reference that with the flavor text that's on the gift box.
And I'll get. I don't have that pulled up yet, but we'll get there. Okay. We'll get there in a second. And then Hades, okay. Hades he's got a shift ability, but has sinister plot. This character gets +1 lore for every other villain character you have in play. So both of their abilities do reference the lore. Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like that has anything to do with mana.
Exactly.
At all.
And once I saw those, it led me to believe, okay, those probably don't have anything to do with resources.
Yeah.
Especially with how expensive Hades is. Like, it doesn't.
Yeah.
It costs 8. Right.
Yeah, you don't want your ramp to be that expensive for real.
Right. So, Joey, what do you think? Originally, what were we talking about originally? Goodness gracious.
Deck size.
Yeah, deck size. What do you think about the resources? Where are you at so far?
I really hope that they're on the side. I really do. If I've got to try to find 6, 7, 8 resources in order to play like my big stuff, and so many of like the main characters of the bit, like so many like the fun main characters of the big stuff, that would suck to be in the deck. That would just suck. Like that.
I agree.
You've got to that just doesn't seem like it would make for a fun experience. Of the stuff that I would be really excited to play, and that I want to get players to be really excited to play, forces the game to just take forever. That's not. That's. I would hope that Ravensburger has like a little bit of a better understanding of that.
Well,
I hope that they can build a better experience.
And doesn't Maleficent cost 9? I'm pretty sure Maleficent costs 9.
Maleficent costs 9. Brave Little Tailor costs 8. I think. Like,
yeah.
Who's going to make you wait that long to play Mickey?
Yeah,
that's true. That's true. Got a point.
That's why I'm like, Inkpot still making sense.
And you're saying the Inkpot basically being your separate deck, right? Your separate
the old school Inkpot theory. Basically, it's just the Dawn deck from One Piece.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That would be my preference too, personally.
Yeah.
The 60 card size, unless they put 60 card deck on there until they reveal mechanics, and then it says 50-10, or maybe it doesn't ever say that, and it has a deck list on the back, which they didn't show off at the Toy Fair. You know what I mean? So
right,
yeah.
I would much prefer a Don deck type system too, personally.
Yeah, and if it's something like a Kaijudo Duel Master style, like I don't know much about Kaijudo and how much draw there was in the game, but with draw being so expensive based off what we've seen so far, like if there's not a lot of draw, then putting down a resource like every turn and then playing something, like you're gonna run out of cards so fast.
Mm-hmm.
And that's before even getting to play the expensive stuff.
For like this resource system, do we think that there's a possibility, and this might be a little 200 IQ for everyone, tap it for 1 or crack it for 3? Turn everything into a Black Lotus? Is that too much?
This game is ages 8 and up. No.
Oh, okay, yeah,
no.
That's
no. Just no.
Is it being marketed to 8 and up?
It's on the corner of every box.
Yeah, it's on the box 8+.
Oh, yep, there it is.
I just thought I'd try.
I like it though, but that doesn't say that it can't. That can't be like an effect of certain. Like maybe green is mana ramp. Maybe there is one that you can sacrifice things for it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, unless there's some kind of like Digimon-esque like base rule of the game. Every time you play a character, you draw it or something. Like, then sure, let's rock the Kaijudo system.
Play a character or spend 4 mana to draw a card. I'll take my aggro approach at that point.
Listen, I will pay 6 for Stitch over 6 for a Magic Mirror every day.
Alex has a legit question. Do you think Ravensburger will have the ability to print and create so many sets? Pokemon has had shortages in the last several years. Isn't Ravensburger more of a board game company? I mean, it's all going to depend upon, back end logistics. Joey, what do you think? I know you've got thoughts on this.
So understanding understanding a little bit of kind of Pokemon. If I remember right, it's either North Carolina or South Carolina where Pokemon's like main printer is. I don't entirely remember which one it is. The thing I understand about Ravensburger is that they have access to a lot of different printers kind of everywhere. And because they've been doing this thing for 100 years, they are a board game printer. But remember, a lot of their board games have card mechanics. Take a look at Villainous.
Yep, exactly.
Like that is mostly cards.
Yeah.
So they've got that system down already. They've got, whatever they have as far as who they're reaching out to for printing, they've got those on lock. They're a German-based company also, so they're right next to Cartamundi in Belgium. I'm not concerned at all. The only thing that I might be concerned with is how quickly they can do kind of like emergency reprint stuff. But unlike Pokemon that I think is pretty bottlenecked, I'm pretty confident Ravensburger's printing is they're everywhere. And with as much as they have done, they don't have to worry about things like they probably have like their own paper stock that they're leveraging. It's probably going to be like the same feel of most of the other cards that they have, and then like they'll do the foil printing stuff. So I'm not too concerned about their printing processes.
Yeah. So does Pokemon only have one printer for the most part?
They've got kind of one centralized printer, ideally. Like usually a company is going to have one centralized printer. And the reason that you have that is because it's a really good way to maintain consistency. Because you've got to get paper stock over to them. Give me a second. And then you've got to deal with freaking humidity, which is why everybody complains about foils and everybody says, stop complaining about foils curling. You got to deal with that kind of stuff. So the other element to that is the more you spread stuff out, the more likely you have like different printing equipment you got to deal with. And when you're talking about changes that have to be made to the millimeter, and those and the change in how things are affected based on where the rollers are positioned, like the more you can focus in on your one printer and the more you can get out of that one, the more likely you're going to really be successful. Like you're really going to be successful that way. You want to try to keep everything consistent. Flesh and Blood had this problem. They had Belgium Cardamonde was one way, and then when it went over to Japan, you could instantly tell the difference between the cards.
Right. Also, Joey, you have a fan. Princess Aurora.
Hello.
Princess Aurora says, hello, Joey. It's me, Princess Aurora. I am also known as Briar Rose.
Hello,
Briar Tuck?
No, the Briar Rose. Oh, my. Oh, gosh.
Well,
go ahead, Joey.
You're just
a nerd, okay? This is like it's like a rosé. Focus I got. It's not. It's a
I wanted to show Joey this. I wanted to show Joey something.
Okay.
I feel really bad given what I've got this is. Sorry, Princess Aurora, but this is our wedding beer and this is my wedding glass.
What you got, Jim? Go ahead.
All right. So I had to remove this because I was just like, oh no, all right, what if he sees this? But now I got to show it to him. So I got this really sick hat. Okay. I don't really have a lot of hats. Okay. Yeah. Here.
There's a cat.
Do you know anything about this?
Yeah.
Mine's over there.
They ruined the opportunity to create alpha boxes because they put alpha in the name, and that's gonna.
Now, hang on. Where did it go? Oh,
gorgeous cards though.
Jim, alternate dimensions. You 100% agree with this. There's an easy fix on foils. You don't print them. You make.
Thank you, my man.
I agree.
Yes,
Dan recently joined the club. He was like, "You mother."
Here, guys.
I'll take a full art over a foil any day.
All day long.
All day long.
Right, I will. Oh, there it goes.
Totally, 100% agree.
All right, I will show you this. All right, so
oh, here we go. Oh, thank you.
You can't.
All right, here. Check this out. Guys.
Oh.
And mind you, I actually fixed it a little bit. Like this thing was bad.
See that? You see that? That is so bad.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Thanks,
it's
Obama.
That's just Jim's thing. Yes, alternate dimensions. 100% a Pringle. 100%.
Oh, I see. Okay, I see what you mean by like the back of the gift boxes thing. I think that I had the system backwards in my head because I thought that scoring might have been done by like you score what you banish.
Or like a bounty system.
Kind of like a bounty system, but that suggests a little bit more like based on XYZ success of the characters, you score when they do a thing, and then you score whatever that amount of lore might be, which is why Mulan would add +1 to everybody.
Right.
And
that makes a lot of sense given the back of the box.
So Hades is a little Voltroning depending on how we win.
Right. Which we'll get to that in a second because I kind of want to talk about
Do you want me to answer this last? If you want me to answer it at all.
So all right, Alex has a question. Do you have any thoughts on the prices of the D23 cards selling for so much? So secondary market, it seems absurd that they're selling for thousands of dollars.
About this.
We'll talk about that, and then Geeks First also has one too. But when with regards to the D23 cards, I mean, yes, it's kind of absurd, but you know what? There's people that are willing to pay that amount of money for them.
Oh, hey, real quick, I'm gonna have to leave in about 5 minutes.
Okay, sounds good.
You need a timer?
So,
I'm watching.
So, I mean, I think it's crazy, but you know what? Like Jim said earlier, depending on how well this game does, those prices could go through the roof. I do think oh, there it is. I do think that if this game does really well, they're going to go higher and higher and higher. So
yeah, especially with how unique they are.
Sneaky, what do you think?
I'm the same. I think it's like a lot of ridiculous investing and speculation, but listen, if people want to gamble with their money, they want to gamble with their money. But yeah, I do think if the game takes off like we want it to, like with how unique the cards are, then they're going to be worth a lot of money.
Right. Lee, what do you think?
Yeah, it's a lot of money to spend, but you know, I can live with one kidney, so you know. But yeah, I mean, it's
half a liver.
It's if I could see him going higher, especially with things you got to consider, like the D23 Maleficent is worded differently than the Maleficent that'll be printed in the set.
It's stuff like that that's going to make prices.
That's like not even so much the fact that it was like a collector's item, but stuff that's like that card is 100% different. That is going to translate to value, I think.
Yeah. The formatting changes.
Yep.
Yeah, that too.
Jim, what do you think?
100%. We were talking about this a little bit earlier. Short term, I could see the prices going down a little bit, but that's really it. And then once this game, if this game starts to take off and it can kind of go 2, 3, 4 years, then we're going to start seeing these cards, or this whole collection as well, just soar in price.
Right. All right, Joey, go for it.
See it in two angles. One, it's going to go up for a while because it's going to, but it's going to start by going down, and it's going to stay down for a while. Because this has been the case with every game for at least the last year that seems like it has a lot of promise, is it goes high like crazy, just right out of the gate, and then game comes out and hangs around and people gets to see how it reacts, and then it sinks for a little bit. Mm-hmm. That's kind of one side. Long term, yeah, you're fine. If you got it, you're fine. Good job. Congrats. Two, though, the way that this could actually screw up, I feel, and this is something I really hope Ravensburger doesn't do, is if they basically go promo bloat, because they have so many opportunities to just overdo promos, because there's going to be so many things that they can promote through the channel and Disney Plus and things at Disney World, and they can do all of they can overwhelm everything with promos that none of the promos really feel that special anymore, and you really lose the ability to collect them all. And as soon as that kind of happens, that group that would spend a heck of a lot of money on everything is like, I can't complete this is kind of cool, but I can't complete it, and I wonder how many other people can really complete it. So kind of why am I buying this thing now? Like if you go so far on promos that it basically knocks the collectors out of the ability to actually collect things, I think these go down and stay down for a while, like a long while.
Based on Ravensburger saying they're not going to do mechanically unique promos, I don't see them doing many other types of promos for a lot of different things. But that's just my gut initial take. So
I'm going to go with Papa Disney could screw this up. We'll do it that way. Ravensburger's fine. Good job, Ravensburger.
Right. I think, and time will tell, about how much input Disney is going to have on what they want to see done. Like you said, promos, time will tell. Well, I mean, and you even made comment in our interview. I don't know if it was on the interview or before or after, but we were talking about the D23 cards, and I had asked you if you thought that was Disney, but you thought that was Ravensburger, correct?
Yeah, I 100% thought that was. I still very 100% feel like that was a Ravensburger decision. I don't think Disney went as far as to say this is what you should be giving out for promos. They probably said this is the space that we're going to give you, and Ravensburger probably came back with a plan as like, all right, this is the kind of stuff that we want to show. This is kind of when we let out the door. Where do we fit in your schedule? And Disney was like, fine.
Right.
No way does Disney come in and say 6 promos and it's gonna be these 6, and you have to make a pin, and the first one's gonna be Mickey. Like,
right.
That's too granular, and Ravensburger would have said, you guys got to stop and just let us do our jobs.
Right. All right, but before Jim's got to go,
Yeah.
let's look at these. All right, so if you can see this, we'll see if I can actually. Yeah, nope, that's not going to do anything. So it says Hades, King of Olympus. What if Hades ruled the gods? This reimagined villain of the underworld puts the power of the celestial throne in your hand. Controlling and ambitious, he uses his subjects to get what he wants. Surround him with other villains and watch him gain a lot of lore fast. So we do know that those pips are called lore. We do have lore tokens, whatever that means. All right, so that's Hades. Mulan says Mulan Imperial Soldier. A true leader is not one who directs, but one who inspires. The undaunted courage of this familiar heroine spurs her allies to reach for victory and makes others think twice about getting in her way.
Oh, I just realized how DM connected it to Keyforge. Okay. That makes sense.
Yep.
Explain for those that don't know.
Okay. Real super quick on this one. So Keyforge, the way that Keyforge worked is you had to collect keys. The way you collected keys is you got Amber. I think it was called Amber.
Yes,
correct. Whatever
it
was called. It rocks. Get 6 of them. Get 6 of them and have those 6 survive until your next turn. You got a key. That key basically locked you in. That key was locked in place. And then you moved on to the next key. 2, 3. So the reason that this stuff matters, the way that the board states worked in Keyforge is the creatures you had existed, and you can either attack other creatures with them, or you can exert them, and you can basically reap with them to get a thing towards an Amber towards your win condition.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So if this is a challenge kind of scenario of there's no life total. The only reason I want to challenge would be to remove things off the board.
Right.
The only reason I might want to DM's probably thinking the only reason I would really want to remove things off the board is because they're capable of reaping towards that win condition.
Right. Yes.
I see how he makes that connection.
Yes.
So you think that's what the lore is for?
Yes.
I can use that to reap effectively.
So if Hades is just like, 6 lore counters, let me make a key. Make a key.
Basically, yes.
Yeah. It also makes sense why you see cards that have like the stats that they do, but then you see Mickey cost 8 and it's just like a 5/5 that can get wrecked by a bunch of stuff, but it's the 4 lore and evasive. It makes him harder to get rid of, but he's reaping for 4 every time.
Right.
Like that system that clicks pretty well.
Oh yeah.
Head.
Right. For sure.
Yep. Here's this other one too. And Jim, again, let me know when you got to go, my guy.
Okay. Depending on what this is.
Blake.
All right. So Geeks First says, give me your best, mid, and worst case release scenarios from each of you. Please, I'm talking about release handling, not game mechanics. I'd also say so for games mechanics after best case, mid case, and then worst. So
Jim will never get to leave.
Yeah, when we're talking about release, okay, what's gonna happen on release? Good, best case, worst case.
Riots.
I mean, let's limit it to best and worst case. Jim, what do you think?
Worst case scenario, there are riots.
I mean,
People
it's
trampling.
not
It's like it's
you
gonna
got-
be Black Friday. That's worst case, or I guess best case scenario if you're Ravensburger. I don't know.
That's worst case scenario.
I mean,
any publicity is good publicity, right?
Right.
Getting the name out there.
Right.
Look at our fans are going wild for these cards. Get your hands on them. Yeah, best case.
Christmas is coming up.
Yeah. Everyone is able to get the cards that they or I guess sealed product that they want. And That's all I got. I haven't thought about it.
Yeah, Lee.
And I gotta
Lee.
go.
All right.
All right.
Peace
See you
out,
guys.
Jim.
Just want to
Bye,
talk to you.
Jim.
Bye bye.
We'll talk later.
Cheers, Jim.
Lee, what do you think, man?
Okay, so we'll go. Worst case scenario would be, I guess, let's say they have some sort of unfortunate event come up and release gets pushed back, like to an unknown date or however long after. Because I feel like once it gets to be about August, we've all had enough waiting. I mean, it's a waiting game, but
We've all had enough waiting anyway.
And best case scenario is, like Jim said, everybody gets what they want and organized play right out of the gate, and it works well.
Sneaky, you're up.
Cool. Best case scenario, in my opinion, is it gets printed into the ground, and for all of these people that are wanting to hoard and stash boxes and stuff and keep stuff out of circulation, and the cards are set up in a way that the chase cards are not play cards, so people can get cards they want to play with off the singles market, and collectors can also be happy chasing their fancy chase cards like Pokemon. Basically, if they can just be Pokemon but Disney, they've got it. Worst case scenario, nobody can get cards, nobody can play, and then everyone says there's no point playing this game. We're trying to deal with it or spending a bunch of money on it, and bounces.
Joey.
Best case scenario, basically what Sneaky said. Print it into the ground. Say you're printing into the ground. Make it real transparent. Here's our backup plan if things run out. So that way the speculators don't go to every LGS and make this thing impossible to get anyway, despite the fact it's about to be printed into the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Worst case scenario is the product's inaccessible and the net new people getting into the industry, getting into games, the parents, the kids, all the people, all the ones who are not already TCG players who are going to fight tooth and nail to get this thing, all the new ones, they can't get this thing. And the people who are buying it, which is like dad and the tweeners still watching Disney, are like, this is not worth $200, $300, $400, $500 to me.
Yep.
I guess I'm just going to be out. Like, Lorcana fails if the net new is instantly alienated because the rest of us buy out everything.
Yep.
And then at that point, you haven't added to the market, you've just saturated it. We have enough of that. Game doesn't last.
Okay.
That's the worst.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm kind of right there with you. Best case, it gets printed in the ground, and like Joey said, they're telling everybody it's being printed in the ground. Therefore, it's no use. It's no use taking this off the market because it's just going to get replaced tenfold anyway. So yeah, that's best case. Worst case is they don't print enough. Number one. Number two, they don't communicate anything. They leave the consumer base in the dark. That way everybody is buying everything up. And then we don't know if stuff's being reprinted or what. So
that'll try to organize play to pieces. That will make that will make anything that is worth working for pointless because I immediately just want to sell the stupid thing.
Yep.
Agree.
And that leads into screw it. That leads into early MetaZoo days. That leads into
everybody's like,
to sell the thing, but now I'm going to work with my customers because I know this stuff is worth 5-10 times in the secondary market and I can't sell it myself. So I'm going to partner up so that way we can all profit. And screw the guys who want to play the game. That's the kind of stuff that happens. That's the crap relationship.
Right. There was something else that I saw. I don't want to miss it. We talked about the prices. We talked about that. There's so much to talk about
with One Piece. One Piece had the worst release. That's your worst case scenario release. Is take a lot of pride in 1 or 2 promos that you can get, have the entire community go nuts, and then don't actually distribute it anywhere.
Oh,
except like 6 spots.
That's mean.
Like, that was the One Piece. That was the One Piece scenario.
Yeah.
Like, good job.
All right, guys. Okay. What else? What? So, okay. So, Illumineers said, where did it go? Oh no, not that one. Sorry, he does say they maintain that the what's Snarfblats? They said something was going to be Snarfblats, but
lore. The lore.
Lore. They said lore. The lore is going to be Snarfblats, but they said park exclusives will 100% happen.
Oh yeah.
All right, so we have. Let's go ahead and get into. Oh, okay. Warlock does ask, "What's the lore for?" We don't really know 100%. So now, Joey, you said, well, you did
I think
say
he was
in this
actually making a
stream
play off
that
of
you
the
didn't
song
think
War.
that you didn't think that the lore was going to be a win condition.
Now that I've seen how it connects to Keyforge, I'm actually completely reversed that.
Yeah.
I 100%.
He's been converted.
And we got him. We got him.
You didn't do anything.
One of us.
Yeah.
One of us.
Yeah, did that.
Yeah. So I want to get this out real quick too. So Friday nights are our family movie nights. So we watch movies with the kids. We have dinner and a movie. So tonight we watch Sorcerer's Apprentice. Okay. With Nicolas Cage and Jay Baruchel. Super underrated movie. I love that movie. I hadn't seen it in a long time. Super underrated. Love it. And then so there's a part in that movie where they do the Fantasia Sorcerer Mickey directing the brooms. Okay. So my wife is like, oh, is that a callback to Fantasia? I'm like, oh, absolutely, 100%. And so she hadn't seen Fantasia in a long time. Kids have never seen it. So we went to Fantasia, we watched that stream or that little clip. And dude, I forgot how amazing Fantasia was.
Oh, God,
groundbreaking that
Fantastic.
movie was. 1940. I mean, it is a masterpiece.
It holds up today if you censor certain things.
Yeah, for real.
They did come. It did come up with that screen, which is like there was stuff that was bad. Now I don't even remember what it was.
Disney likes to apologize for this content. That person doesn't work for us anymore.
But what in Fantasia? What is in Fantasia? What night on Bald Mountain part in there? Or I don't know what's offensive.
There's the big one is there's a scene in the forest. It's like the fawns in the forest.
Yes, correct.
There's what you see is pretty zoomed in, because they hide that basically everyone who's tending the fawns, they made them look like slaves, like proper zippity doo dah slaves.
Oh, okay. Okay.
All right.
Understood.
So yeah, it zoomed in.
I haven't seen that movie in years. Haven't seen it in years.
Either.
And I'm going to sit down and watch that movie again because it's amazing. But yeah, not surprised. All right. So we're going to welcome into the chat. We've got Brad, Alternate Dimensions here. Brad is a CCG veteran of about 40 different games. So
L5R in there.
Quite a few different games here. Used to cover L5R, which is Legends of the Five Rings. I know, Lee, do you play L5R? I know you did, right?
I dabble a little bit.
Okay.
Wait, well, it's CCG or LCG. That's the difference.
It's a card game. It's a card game, right? but again, yes.
Lorcana is just a card game there, Dan.
And he also owns a local game store. So let's get Brad in here. Brad, how are you, sir?
Evening, gentlemen.
How are you?
Good.
Bradley, hello, sir.
All right. Pretty sure I have that same shirt, or at least I used to have that shirt.
Classically trained.
I'm going to put myself on a 15-minute timer, by the way.
15-minute timer? You got it, Joey. All right. So, Brad, I'm interested on your take, especially from kind of where you are in this space. Okay. What's your initial take on Lorcana thus far? Where do you think the game's at?
I think it's very interesting, both from a player perspective and even though we don't know enough about the rules yet, as well as a collector. I grew up on Disney. It's the reason my parents got cable. That was, I could watch Sesame Street. That was easy because public television was free.
Yep.
But Disney was the reason we got cable, literally.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, as you can tell, I've been a veteran of a few years. Both my sister and I both grew up on it. So, the fact they're putting all the artwork is new. That's another huge plus. And there's not taking old film or artwork pieces, stills, frames off of old movies and using them. They're actually making brand new artwork. I thought that was impressive, considering Disney's history. I've already had probably 3 different families, dad, mom, at least one kid, if not multiple, that are super interested in the game. Already want to put down a pre-order, and I'm like, I don't even know how much I'm getting at this point.
Have you heard anything from your distributor?
So I have a contract with Southern Hobby, Peach State, Hobby Distribution, and Alliance. Okay. Alliance is the only one of the 3 that has pre-orders even up on their site. They do not have pricing listed. It is just put in an order so that we can prepare for this. But I do know that all 3 distributors that I have contracts with are carrying it. And I went ahead and put an order in with Alliance, but I don't spend as much with them as I do the other 2. The day it goes live on the other 2, they're getting a humongous order.
Mm-hmm. Good man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so let me ask you really quick. On Alliance, did they limit your order? Did they cap you?
As far as what I could put in, I didn't notice any capping, but I mean, all of them are allocated so that you can put in whatever you want on the front end. It's going to be based on how much you spend, and versus how much they end up getting available. Now, I will tell you that all distributors, at least in the 4+ years that I've owned the business, that I've dealt with, all of them, they overorder, and there are pallets that they keep in the back, and they say, no, they don't have enough, they don't have any more product. They sit on it, and they will charge us, 2 or 3 years down the road when they're like, hey, we've got pallets of this stuff in the back. The price of these boxes are ridiculously high. We can pass that cost on down. And they do, because right now I've gotten an email from Peach State that says they've got older Magic products, and the prices are like 3 times as high as what they normally are on stuff
on our first edition.
So they do that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they did it with Fab. It was real bad.
It is. I mean, all of them do it, but their capitalism can be real bad on greed, unfortunately.
So let me ask you, as an LGS who's seen that other side of it, do you think it's even possible for Ravensburger to actually not just slap distro on the wrist if they do that kind of stuff? Like, can they actually enforce anything on distro?
It really depends on how that contract goes. I think I know with Flesh and Blood, I know that initially LSS wanted to didn't want to sell to distribution. They wanted to sell out to smaller groups, and nothing ever formed. So they ended up going through distribution and a couple other places, which ended up being Channel Fireball, Rudy from Alpha Investments, Team Covenant,
TCG Player, CSL. Well,
so
CSL is hard about the time.
So yeah, I mean,
we're all talking shop.
No, I understand, but depending on what kind of contract they signed, there's probably some difficulty in saying, "Hey, you can't dump this for ultra cheap," etc. Now, considering this is a Disney property, that from the collector aspect, it's going to be. I think the collector side of it is going to be buying up or trying to buy up more. So I expect less of that issue on the front end. But yeah, I don't want to see product dumping on Amazon. That's my big worry.
I think that's everybody's big worry. Like, I mean, yeah, Amazon's great and all. It's easy to buy stuff for the consumer, but I really wonder if most consumers think about like what Amazon is doing directly or indirectly to the space and to local game stores when they purchase through Amazon.
Well, the thing that they miss is that like you don't get to promote through Amazon, because the stuff that I do with Genesis, like part of the fun of working with distro is that like we can get to partner up and we get to help like do promos, and they sort of help. Like it's not a big lift on their part, but they do help us like reach out and create good messaging for LGSs to reach out to them. Amazon's not going to care, but like at least we can have fun in how we sell stuff. At least because at least distro's going to try that, because if we do stuff with distro, we can do promos to distro, and distro, if there's enough in there, this is again Fab's problem is they only have 2, but if you get them competing with each other, I can send like promos to distro. I was like, hey, Alliance has this special promo, PhD has this special promo, and they will fight and they will do the work for me to get LGSs to like buy through them specifically because they got the exclusive promo. You can't get that with Amazon.
No.
Right.
And Brad can sanity check me on every single one of those things, because when I get the love and sanity check, I already know I would just want to connect with you afterwards, Brad.
Oh yeah,
I'm down to 7.5.
I got you.
Yeah. I'm very interested to see how this is going to shake out from an LGS perspective. I'm really curious to know what the average consumer for Lorcana, where they're going to get their stuff. So Brad, you said you've already had 3 families come asking about Lorcana, and that's kind of before they're really making their big marketing push, correct?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, all the marketing they've been doing is mostly strictly like, kind of B2B,
soon.
Right. But I mean, outside of posting to Twitter, what other kind of marketing have they really been doing? I mean, I haven't seen much of anything outside of posting to social media.
I mean, an IGN
that's what I've
article.
seen.
Polygon and IGN. That's it.
Yeah. But I mean, I also wonder. Joey's looking through that magazine.
I'm looking to see if they did anything with Gamma. Like I expect them to be at Gamma.
That's sort of the big one.
I'd be amazed if they're not at Gamma.
Yeah, for real.
When
we already know that Ravensburger's there. They're always there. Don't have their. I do know that they don't have their own booth. Ravensburger has a 10x20. That's it. There's no Lorcana booth, so it'll be there, but like it won't be like a lot. Anyway, that's me.
Yeah.
Richard, so we've got somebody in chat. Richard says, I'm that family, not at Brad's store, but I'm a Disney dad that hasn't played a TCG since 2007 and asked around at 2 local game stores about Lorcana. All right, Richard, I'm curious, what were those LGS's responses? Had they heard about it, number 1, and number 2, had their distributors given them any information yet that they shared with you? I would be amazed if I were to walk into the 3 LGSs that are within like a 5-mile radius of my maybe more like 20-mile radius.
Lucky.
And see if they have heard about Lorcana yet. Because I mean, we all know that there's games out there that that every LGS may be like, oh, I haven't heard of that one. So Richard says both had heard about it, but that's all I know. They said they will stock it and offer tournament support if there's enough interest. All right, so the standard boilerplate response is what that sounds like to me.
Yeah,
correct, Brad. Is that your standard boilerplate response?
For most things. Now, I will say this: I am a little more gung ho about certain properties. Like, I'm personally a Disney fan. My store manager is both a Disney fan and a collector, so he understands, and he's played a myriad of CCGs, not as many as I have, but he's had folks that's come in and said, "Are you going to carry this product?" Well, whether it's been collectors or families have contacted me because a lot of them know me. A lot of the ones that I know have kids that are in that range. So we talk. Now, normally I hold off on making announcements that we're going to carry product on something until a little closer to release. But I'd already had enough feedback from folks in our local area that I was confident that, I'm going to put it up there that, yes, we are going to carry product and we are definitely going to support organized play. Even if it's, we're going to set up demos and everything else, that I'm planning on doing the whole shebang. For me, we are mostly a CCG store. I carry board games and RPG stuff as well. But like right now, we do Magic, Pokemon, Flesh and Blood, and Lorcana was going to be the other one. So I was going to have two of the more family style ones, Pokemon and Lorcana, and then two of the more mid-range to adult with Fab and Magic. I've noticed the Pokemon group has gotten humongous. Like we had 16 for our last Pokemon event, and a lot of the groups that are coming in are dad and son or dad and daughter or the whole family playing. And there's been a lot of buzz talking about Lorcana in those groups, so I expect a lot of crossover there too.
Let me ask you a question. Do you expect to hear any crossover from the other side of the coin? If you got the family side, do you hear any of like, oh, I'm excited to get in Lorcana from like your Fab and your non-Commander Magic players, maybe?
Not that I've currently heard. Now, most of our players at my store are Commander players. I have a group of modern player contingent competitive modern players that go around to the different circuits and play in those events. Usually the only ones in those groups that have shown any interest are ones with children or our collectors on the side.
Gotcha. As a store that has an audience of both, do you have any legit concern that Lorcana events are going to be a blend of dads and kids who are just having fun, and that high end, I want to win the early promo things? Like, it's just going to be a blend that creates a really negative experience for the more casual community?
Right now, I don't. At least right now, most of the ones that I've spoken to this is either their first TCG or they haven't played TCG in years, and it's more about the family fun aspect. Again, I do expect there are going to be some hyper competitive folks. There always are, and
100%. They're always there.
My thought process is, well, if we have enough of the hyper competitives, I can kind of set those to the side and say, hey, we can run an event for you guys for some of this, and then run the casuals for the others.
Makes sense. Smart way I would do it.
It's kind of what we're doing for Pokemon. There's a small group that we do that with that want to do like win a boxes, and I'm like, that's fine. We can separate you guys from the non-competitive, and we can run multiple events. I got no problem with that.
Okay, cool.
That's interesting to me a little bit. I mean, I get it and it makes sense, but all right, Joey, you got to get out of here, sir. Is that correct?
I'm at the I'm at
There it
the
is.
8 seconds, but
There it is.
thanks so
right.
much for having me. I'm gonna we're gonna let this thing beep just for fun. Just give it.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, everybody knows. I will at least quickly say goodbye and then down the rest of this. But it's been an absolute blast. Thank you guys. Thank you for doing this.
Nice meeting you.
If you haven't checked out our episode, head over to any of our podcast links. Head over to YouTube. Check out that full interview. So, all right, Joey. Until next time, sir.
For sure. Good meeting you guys. Hopefully not the last time for sure. You guys are awesome.
Take care.
Have a good one.
All right. Now we can really talk about him. No, I'm kidding.
Now that he's gone.
Oh man, that was so. Abby has a good question. Brad, we should have asked. All right, he's still here. So, Brad, are you going to carry Genesis?
I've looked at the game actually. It really looks kind of cool, and I need to sit down and get a good demo with it to make sure. I am a big fan of games that are a little more complex, and Genesis sort of looks in that vein. Like I played L5R, so there's a lot of movement, a lot of deep thought. There's a lot of board complexity, things of that nature that I'm into. So it seems very cool to me. I also played Doomtown. So yeah, I'm used to looking at complicated board states, so I wouldn't be surprised that I would probably be interested in Genesis as well.
Brad, he's gone. You can really say what you think, dude. So okay. So one thing, Brad, I would be interested in asking your opinion on this. Sneaky and Lee, you guys too, because I don't think we've really talked about this. So I'll let everybody know who's here, but our podcast for next week, we sat down with Justin Gary. He designed Ascension, the Ascension deck building game, Ascension Tactics. He worked on SoulForge Fusion with Richard Garfield. It was a phenomenal conversation. And their next Ascension Tactics Kickstarter goes live on Monday or Tuesday, I want to say. So we were able to sit down with him. And, the interesting thing with games like Ascension Tactics, it seems like there's more and more games that are card games, but now are introducing concepts of boards. Okay. Genesis being one of them. SoulForge, SoulForge Fusion, the one from Kickstarter, Sorcery. There it is. Sorcery was one. There, I mean, I could go down a list. Okay. It's something else, right, on top of cards. It's not just the cards, right? Brad, have you seen stuff like that? And do you have an initial opinion and take on that? Or, because I mean, I would think normally the take would be, this is very different. I'm talking about a card game. Why are we having a board state type thing? Well, be curious as to your take on that.
So it's an interesting mix. Now I have played, I played the original SoulForge, which was an iPad app back probably 2008, I think was it when it came out. They originally did a Kickstarter for it back in the day. Then, so I was interested in Fusion. And I played a few games of Fusion. I like it. It's something, it's a unique experience. The lane-based combat, the way that the decks work, the way you're having to when you play one minion, it levels up. You put the next one in your deck for that spot, etc. I've not done the Ascension Tactics. I was very fond of the Ascension deck building game from back in the day, and funny story, I actually know one of the world champions of the Ascension deck building game. He's from Cookeville, Tennessee. I went to college with him when I was up there. Jesse Savage, I think, was 2015. Was it 2014 or 2015? I love deck building games from that aspect because it's cheaper than drafting. And I can tell you how much money the card game played 40 different ones, you're gonna throw some money away. But
hey, it's an investment. It's an investment. You're not throwing it away.
Well, I mean, it's an investment till it goes.
Hey, it's a fun investment. It's an investment in your time and your enjoyment, right?
Oh, that's very true. I mean, I still have some of the ones I played. The old Lord of the Rings trading card game. I've still got all of that stuff from back in the day, and all my L5R stuff. But I enjoy more of the ones that mesh concepts like the board complexity. Like with L5R, you literally had you were attacking locations, and you could move your units in and out of combat. So there was a lot more integral play. There's some people that don't mix my board games with my card games, and so I understand it's definitely a different crowd. I've had a hard time marketing some of those crossover products to some clientele because they're just not interested.
Right.
Yeah. Like I play card games and I play miniature war games, but I don't think I'd be interested in this game.
Ascension Tactics? Is that what you're saying, Sneaky?
Yeah. Okay. I was just looking at it over at my phone. I was trying to figure out what was going on with it.
Gotcha. Lee, do you have an initial take on it?
On what? Ascension?
On games like Ascension Tactics, where they are card games, right? Like in the Ascension Tactics case, it's a deck building game, but also introducing an actual board state and a board mechanic. Ascension Tactics just being one of them.
I'm from the school of I prefer my TCGs just the cards without having to manage an entire board. That being said, I do like games like I guess Villainous could be kind of included in that nutshell of a card game with a board.
Correct.
They're not horrible, and like Ascension is fun and everything, or Ascension Tactics is fun and everything, but I'm very much I like to keep them separate. Unless it's like a let's get the fellas together and have a fun board game night type of feel,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Before we get Nive in here, there's a question I kind of want to get to here. Alex says, do anyone here think a Pokemon-like craze of the 90s is even possible for kids today? Are they interested enough in card games, or would they rather be online? I mean, they could be online playing card games. Like, look at Marvel Snap, right? Like, I think that's a good example. But if we're specifically talking about kids, right? That's another story. I think kids are going to be more apt to get into it if their parents are into it, right? That's what I think. Sneaky, you had a comment. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know 100% about like the 1990s craze, but I definitely think
you're
that
young.
No, I was there. I was playing books, playing Pokemon at the local Books a Million. No, but I'm a teacher, and so I can say a solid third of my students. I teach fourth grade.
That's right.
So I'd say a solid third of my students collect Pokemon cards. It's a huge thing in school. Always fights over Pokemon cards. It's ridiculous.
My 12-year-old collects them too.
Yeah, well, you're also a TCG dad, so it's expected.
Yeah, and I was gonna say because you gave him.
Yeah. So I definitely think there's still going to be a huge draw. And I remember I was posting something in the Discord the other day because we were talking about something. I was like, listen, on September 5th, because the 4th is Labor Day. Dude, every middle and elementary school kid in America that goes to public school is going to know about Lorcana, because there's going to be so many kids running around with their Disney cards showing it off to other kids.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm very interested to see how
to see that wave. It's going to be cool.
And, my wife's a teacher, so I'll be very interested to see, and with my kids to see kind of what they see. Brad, what do you think?
So it's funny. I also, my sister is 6 years younger than I am, so she was absolutely ready for Pokemon. She enjoyed it playing it more than she did Magic. But she was ready to dive in. So when we were talking about hyper competitive, I'm not a commander. So I guess the problem. I'm not a commander player. I'm not one that can politic my way out of stuff. I'm a firm. I'm a firm 1v1. I see a target, I eliminate it. It's been what I've been doing for 25 years. But, most of her friends ended up playing Pokemon at the same store, and so I remember the 90s craze back when we could play trainer cards, and it didn't matter. We could play as many trainer cards on the turn. How many Professor Oaks you got? Oh.
Mm-hmm.
The Wheel of Fortune. I love this. Great. So yeah, I remember those days. Now, I could see something similarly happening with any of the kids that are exposed to Lorcana. Very, take them to school. There's no telling. Now, one of the things that I profess, I work in higher education as my day job. The business is literally my side gig, but I've loved gaming for so long. I'm tired of seeing game stores close. I've got the right people helping me run this. They care about the community, and everything has worked out so far. But the way I profess to folks that may be interested in a hobby is, we're attached to our devices so much in our daily lives, whether it's our phone or tablet or computer, laptop, whatever. The face-to-face interaction is good for the child, teen, whatever age it is, and the critical thinking skills that they get are something that they may not be getting in school to a certain degree. Those type of thinking outside the box, thinking on the fly, they may not be getting enough of, and teaching them something. And I know with teachers, both when you see the students' eyes light up, like, oh yeah, I see that. That is a magic moment. And I love seeing that when you get to that level. That's the reason when I demo games, I'm intentionally not playing optimally. I want the child to win. I had a game like that the other day with an 8-year-old. A friend of mine brought his nephew, and we were trying to teach him Pokemon. Walked him through everything, and I gave him the better of the decks. And I was like, okay, I know this one's better than the other one. And, I love to see that from a child. They're like, oh, I get it. Yeah. So, and they don't get as much interaction, even though there's online gaming and you can talk to somebody. I don't think they're getting quite as much critical thinking in the video games that I've been seeing lately than I do from a tabletop experience.
Yeah. Yeah, I am right there. I'm right there with you. So we're gonna be joined now. We're gonna be joined by a special thing. That's like all I can say.
Wow.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, there he is. Look at that beautiful pigeon.
What in the world is this?
I remember seeing this mask the other day.
Yeah.
What is going on, Knife?
Is this your Gen Con prep? This is his Gen Con prep.
Oh no. You're not gonna be able to miss him.
Does it talk? Does it caw? Does it
check 1 2 check? Can you hear me?
And what sound does a pigeon make? So how is your Commander League? They let pigeons in? The pigeons are allowed to play? Yeah, okay. All right, cool. So what's up, Knive? How's it going, man?
Check 1 2. Does this work now?
It does work.
Hello.
There we go.
There we go.
So how are things? How are things, Knive? Good?
Things are going pretty well.
Good.
I'm about to make a promotional video for my channel, so it's going to be great there.
Okay. Can you say anything? Can you say anything else about it, or just it's a promotional video?
Well, you're gonna see this gorgeous face a lot.
Oh. Rawr. BEA beautiful.
Hi, Brad. Nice to meet you.
What's up? How you doing?
How you doing?
How you doing? Yo, do it. Just do it. Do it. Do it.
Bro, okay, have we discussed the new card yet?
We did, but I was literally just going to ask you what your takes are. So let's start off with Magic Mirror. Magic Mirror on the wall. What does Knive think of Magic Mirror on the wall?
I think it's going to be a decent common. Similar cards have been printed in other games, and they're just okay. And so I think this is just going to be like the okay card draw for the Amethyst control deck.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be able to draw you something, maybe, if you can get there.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't know, dude. Like after seeing cards that cost 8-9 cost, right? You know, like 8-9 could be the 8-9 to Lorcana could be what 5-6 is to Magic. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
100%. It could be, but we don't freaking know a thing.
Well, at least you don't know.
You don't know either, dude.
Rude.
You don't know. Enough with the clickbaity.
Secrets don't make friends, Knife.
Secrets are no fun unless you tell me.
Oh, they're very fun.
I couldn't remember what the rest of the thing was. So
secrets are no fun unless you, yeah.
You turn double secret probation.
Share with everyone.
No, it's just share with me.
I forget. Go ahead. I think it's like secrets are no fun. I don't know. I forgot.
Honestly,
there's something about like sitting next to me or something like that.
There's a lot there. So okay. Brad, have you seen? Do you have any thoughts on these cards, Bradley?
It's so in the old days, and I do mean the old days. Jam Days Tome was a playable Magic card. Now, this was at the very early stages of the game, probably the first 3+ years.
It was playable in alpha.
Yeah, I mean, it's played in the first World Championship deck, but times are much different now.
Right.
As a repeatable draw engine, you tend to look for those. Now, as Magic has gotten more streamlined in the recent years, it's more about more in the card selection, and then there's maybe a draw attached to it as well. So you're getting what you need, filtering, etc. In the context of what we know, this card would seem to be expensive, especially if you compare it to Stitch, Rockstar.
The GOAT.
I mean, it certainly seems like it with what we know.
Calling it.
Again, I have to, guys. I have to point out what we know is all of what 9 cards.
12 and a half now, I believe.
Oh yeah,
12 and a half, I believe.
12 and a half.
Yeah. So, with not knowing how combat or instants work, are there any instant speed effects? If they want to keep those to a minimum, no. There may not be. If there is some sort of playable control deck that wants to play a long game, I definitely could see a probably a couple of copies of this card viable, especially when we've got eight non-cost characters in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I would think there would have to be some sort of long game, unless we're looking at something like One Piece, where we're putting a single Dawn card into play on turn 1 and 2 every turn after that, where we're trying to get to that a little faster.
Mm-hmm.
Which certainly could be. I think I played enough games that does that, where you're out of a separate deck now. Probably been, 5 or 6 in the last 5 years, I'd say, that started doing stuff like that.
Stuff like what again?
Having a separate deck for resources.
Oh, okay, yeah. Now hang on. Here's one thing that I want to know. Has there been, and again, this doesn't necessarily matter, because, as long as the idea is good, that's the only thing that matters, right? But has there been a big card game that has done a separate side resource deck that has been successful on like any front, or has it just not been done enough to even been able to get to that point?
I would say that it's such a new concept in the TCG space that it's only been done over the past, say, 5-ish years, probably, maybe a little longer than that.
I wish I would have asked Jim when he was here, but I mean, didn't Force of Will, wasn't that in Force of Will? Didn't Force of Will
That's
have
true.
a side?
That's a fair point. That's true.
Force of Will was a secondary resource deck.
Yep.
And Force of Will is still heavily played in East markets, I think.
Everything is still heavily played in East markets.
That is true. Very true.
They love their card games on that side of the planet, for sure.
It's true. Very, very true.
100%. So I just wanted to make that note at least.
Yeah. I mean, if we push out of the CCG space, when Hearthstone, when World of Warcraft TCG ended and and Hearthstone took its place, that was my first experience with that sort of side deck. Hey, here's your resource every turn.
Yeah, I guess the digital space really brought that side deck to the forefront because of the automatic resources. And so, I mean, that's actually a fair point, because like Hearthstone, huge. Legends of Runeterra, huge. Like those are two big ones that I think you can point to. And Legends of Runeterra, I like what Legends of Runeterra did is you get your resource every turn, and then you can carry over up to 3 in your spell slot.
Yeah, you can bank some.
Really, really nice. Very, very nice. So that's a good point. Very good point.
Yeah, it even snaps the same way. You get 1 resource a turn.
Correct. Correct. Yes. I think any new digital card game is, but that's the only, I guess it's not the only way you could do it, but it's a lot easier to do in a digital card game.
It is, yeah. In the digital space, it's way easier.
I will be very interested. I don't know if any of you have seen the DC Dual Force. It was announced by Cryptozoic Entertainment in 2021. They said it was going to come in 2022. Nothing. Haven't heard anything for a year, but in fact, I just got an email from Cryptozoic, just like their marketing thing, and they still have it on there. So I'm like, what's going on with this game? So we'll be interested to see what happens with that. I'm mostly curious to see like how the systems are going to work, because that's what's interesting to me.
Who is Cryptozoic?
Cryptozoic Entertainment they do the DC deck building game. They do excuse me. They do a lot of the DC statues. As far as the deck game space goes, they're most well known, at least in my mind, for the DC deck building games. Let me actually see.
So previously, when let's see, Upper Deck Entertainment was working with Blizzard on the WoW TCG. It left Upper Deck and they took it to Cryptozoic.
Oh, they did?
Yes. Cryptozoic finished out the run of the TCG. Patrick Sullivan, who is a fairly well-known Magic player that also did commentary on the SCG tour,
Yeah.
was,
Okay.
At one point in time, I had a league designer for that.
If you go to dcdualforce.com, you can see it.
Yeah, but there's nothing on that website. There's barely anything.
There's a couple of cards.
Well, there's cards, but this website has not changed since it got announced.
Oh.
So yeah, there's that. And then you can put your thing in here, and then they've got their cards and stuff. But again, you don't really know how anything works. Kind of like Lorcana.
I see what you did there.
And this is a digital card game?
Yes. Yeah, it's a digital collectible card game. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Neat.
So yeah, this website has not changed since it was announced, but it's a thing. It's supposed to be a thing. So
not gonna lie, like I really enjoyed Snap, except for the snapping part. Like
you don't like the wage, the ante up.
No, it was just like so much, especially when it came down to like getting the events or whatever. Like you had to score so many points, and it all came down to whether you could effectively snap or not. And it just got annoying that I could win tons and tons of games, but if I messed up a snap and like lost one game and I only got 1 point off the rest of them, I'm suddenly back at negative. Like it was really frustrating.
Yeah, it's an interesting mechanic for sure. So all right, well, Lee's got to get out of here. Lee,
I'm gonna bow out, gentlemen.
Final thoughts, friend.
I don't know. I'm really excited with the persistent damage kind of being a new revelation, a little bit of a semi confirmation we got from Healing Glow. So I'm excited for that. It's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah. So all right, well, Lee, until next time.
Absolutely.
We'll have to get another Commander game in soon. Friend.
Oh, sounds good. Have a great one, fellas.
All right, take care, dude. So anyway, so that's Magic Mirror. Hang on, let's do it. Here it is. Healing Glow. Knive. Go. Yes, I timed that perfectly. Perfectly.
How dare.
100%.
Well, Healing Glow heals a chosen character for 2, which tells us that damage is going to be permanent, or this is meant to be a very weird instant thing, leaning towards the former.
Weird instant thing. Can you expand on that?
Like
what do you mean?
like it would be something like like if in Magic there was a card that said like for 1 mana instant
prevent up to 2 damage.
Not necessarily prevent up to 2 damage, but like this character's damage is treated as if it was dealt 2 less.
Yeah, Sneaky made a comment about that earlier, and my response was basically, if they're gonna do that, it's gonna be all or none. You're preventing all of it, or you're preventing none of it.
I agree.
So I think that this absolutely points to damage being persistent.
I absolutely agree. I'm just kind of covering my bases when I say like
no, for sure,
weird. Yeah,
100%. I just don't think there's a rational argument when looking at this card that can be interpreted any other way other than damage is persistent in my mind. Brad, what do you think?
Yeah, I was kind of already on that boat after we read that there was damage tokens on the back of the gift set. When we found that, I was in that boat. Now, typically, healing effects occasionally got play in Pokemon, but where I saw more of it get played was in World of Warcraft or in Hearthstone, where the cleric or the paladin class typically got healing because damage was persistent in that game as well. And the healing effects were really dumb in those, especially when you're healing up characters with Defender or Taunt, where you could go, oh, I'm going to protect from you hitting whoever you want. Yeah, those effects got to be kind of nutty in those decks. When they were good, they were very good.
There was a question that we had earlier. Here we go. We've kind of touched on this in past streams a little bit, but Alex has a question, says, how does everyone feel about mixing two inks together? Could there be a wild card mode in which you mix any ink? What I think is, so we know Knive initially had the scoop on this one, but I'm gonna ban you so fast, Knive.
You can try. The pigeon army's strong.
So we do have confirmation that decks are going to be two colors, right? If there's not going to be an official format which says you can play with more than two, there will be, I mean, I'm calling it now, there's going to be fan made formats where that's the case.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Even I am willing to say that even before we know how to play the game.
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. And like, if same thing can be said for draft or sealed, like people are going to figure out how to make a limited format. I've actually talked with Traverse Tavern, and we're already like, if there isn't one like officially set up for Gen Con, we might make one ourselves.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, the community is going to make whatever they want to play for the most part.
Yeah. I like the idea of two inks. I like the idea of there being a quote unquote unofficial format that kind of breaks that rule, because I mean, rule 0 is wonderful.
Yeah.
Brad, what do you think about the two inks?
Obviously, I think they've designed the system with the 2 ink limit in mind.
Right.
One of the issues with Magic that I have dealt with, as you go back into older, more powerful formats where you can fix your mana and play all 5 colors, is your decks can get more and more ridiculous because now you have access to everything. Whereas being able to limit yourself breeds a little more creativity. It's like, okay, I don't have access to.
We have had that discussion multiple times on this stream.
What do you think about that, Dan? What do you think about that sentence?
Well, I mean, I don't know if you were actually here when, because I mean, I've had this conversation with multiple people, but I am on board with it breeding more creativity, because I think it does ultimately. Because giving someone unlimited creativity in a space where the goal is to beat your opponent and win, people are going to tend to give me what works best together. Right. So you're going to have people who just basically do, for lack of a better term, 5 color good stuff, right? Or whatever the best stuff is, give me that. Okay. So now when you're coming out the gate and saying, no, we're limiting it to 2 colors out of a total possible of 6, I believe. Is that correct? You've got 6, right?
So far, yes.
Okay, so you've got 6. So now you've got different routes that you can go, right? You have to pick a lane, and then you pick that lane, and then you are, having to get more creative within that space. What is so funny?
Knives just loves sowing doubt. That's just all it is.
I am an agent of chaos.
He's just a troll.
This is true.
It's all Knives.
This is true.
I am the most beloved.
He is a
feathery
troll.
Feathery, good son.
So
I fixed myself.
Brad, I'm right there with you. Yeah. Like, originally, my thought was, I don't like limiting something. How does limiting give me more creative control? But I have gotten there to. It does make people, because you're putting up limitations, and you have to get more creative with those limitations in mind. So, 100%.
We've converted them. Good job, guys.
Just like the OGL, we have won.
Now,
where's the ban button?
That being said, sitting down and brewing something that has all the colors, all the ink colors in it, sounds fun. But how degenerative it will be will determine what level of fun that will be, actually.
Right.
I mean, degenerative just sounds fun.
Well, I mean, I have played, I played Legacy and I played Vintage before. Of course, Vintage was back in like '98, back when I actually had some of that stuff. But yes,
Dude,
I
I
don't mind
played Vintage 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
it's
Jesus.
still a blast.
Oh,
Y'all are way too rich for my taste.
No,
Well,
dude. Who says you
baby.
can't proxy it up? Who
Yeah,
says
or
you can't
proxies.
proxy up a vintage deck? Just
Fair
for
enough.
the
Not
memes,
wrong.
boys. Just for the
Nobody.
memes, and it's fun.
Hand me 3 packs and I'll have a good time.
Yeah, and I like just drafting is. I don't know. Like I'm not the drafting just doesn't appeal to me. But
I'd much rather live sealed, but
yeah, and I'd much rather construct my own deck. 100%.
I mean, yeah, fair.
Yeah, and
but again, to each his own.
Yeah, that's that's like the beauty of these TCGs is like we can have a constructed, we can have a limited format, we can play this game. In reality, it's just a tool to play an infinite number of games.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. All right. Okay.
Can we go back to the healing word? Unless you got
Yes.
something, Dan, or whatever
we'll
it is.
talk about that, and then I'll bring up what I'm gonna ask you guys here. So let me pull it up. Let's go to window. Here it is.
Yes, Steggy, monocolored decks are a possibility.
100%. Yep.
Yes, absolutely.
It's up to two.
Yes.
Wow.
A lot of people are saying that it's just 2. I just want to clarify that like it is up to 2.
Yeah, it's up to 2. Yep.
Up to 2.
Sneaky.
Yeah.
Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Something that he's brought up yet. There's a flourish on the action card.
I was just gonna bring this up, dude.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
I know. So there's 2 things I want to bring up. Okay. Like Sneaky said, there's a flourish here. Okay. There's this flourish here. Okay.
That's
And then
not
we
a
go to
community
Magic
term for
Mirror. Magic Mirror. It's not here.
All the questions.
It's not here. What could it mean?
At this point, I'm just lost.
Dude, seriously, I'm like,
it just seems so random what cards it's on and what cards it's not. It's just like, oh.
So if we go not here, let's go here. Okay. Let's go to cards.
Oh, hey, this is Lorcana.com.
Yep.
Ran by
This is-
NL, a fantastic human being.
All right. So here's all the D23 cards have the flourish. D23 cards have the flourish. Dragonfire. I believe Dragonfire was the first one we saw that didn't have it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Now Steggy has a thought, and this was my thought, but I don't know if this is actually true. And I'll explain. All right.
Yeah.
But Dragonfire. Then we see Olaf, Jumba, Aurora has it, and then Mulan has it. Hades was the first character / glimmer that we saw that does not have the flourish. So far, Magic Mirror is now the third card that does not have this flourish. Okay. Now, let's go back here. Now, Steggy says this. Steggy says flourish equals resource of that color. No flourish equals any color resource is my guess. I'm going to tell you why I don't think that's the case. Okay. I don't think that's the case because 2 resources, 2 colors is not a lot. So again, looking at it from Magic, okay, just basing it off of that and in that context, 2 colors is not that hard to get those 2 colors of the resource, right, on your board. Now, especially if we're talking about a side deck, right, where you're guaranteed that resource essentially every turn, makes it a whole lot easier to get your color, right? It does make it easier because you are, keeping all those cards together. So a format which you're already limited to 2 colors, that doesn't make much sense to me. I'm open to my mind being changed, but I don't think that's the case. Knive, what do you think?
I think the colors are specifically the colors are already restricted by the deck building limitation.
Right.
It doesn't make sense. You might have said this already, and I just completely blanked. I apologize, but
You're good. I'm gonna go ahead and agree with you because
yeah. Yeah, colors are already restricted by deck building, so it doesn't make sense to restrict it even further with resources. I'm thinking I'm beginning to see that it connects more to oh my goodness, what's it called?
Flash.
There's a game.
Instant speed.
Sorry.
Flash, instant speed.
No, I've moved away from the speed because if that's the case, then Magic Mirrors act pretty good, and Hades is just insane. The way that I'm starting to think about this is our resources are going to deal with the cards in some way. So maybe for this example, you put the top card of your deck into this resource line. You can look at this resource line, and then you can pay whatever cost, and you can play flourishing cards from this line and willingly give up one of your resources to play your Aurora from this pile as opposed to your hand. As an example, I'm not saying that's what this is or that's my primary theory, but that's how I'm explaining it.
Okay. So kind of like
Grand Archive. Grand Archive. That's what I was
okay,
thinking of.
Is that okay? All right. I haven't looked much into Grand Archive, but I know it's a thing and it looks super interesting.
Never heard of it.
Versus System had a similar mechanic where you could normally you could play certain actions in your resource row and you turn them up when you could trigger them, but you could also play at one point one of the sets had reservist where you could play a character face down as a resource, and later on you could when you went to play it you could turn it face up and then play it for its cost.
So there's two things there. The way Versus System is now, like the Versus System 2 PCG, you can put any card from your hand face down in your resource row, and you've essentially given up your ability to play that card. It is now a resource.
Yeah.
Right. The other thing you mentioned, which is what I was going to bring up, is there's a mechanic in Magic. I can't remember what the name of the mechanic is, but you can play a card face down. Morph. There we go. Thank you. So you can morph a card. It's face down. It's a 2/2 token, basically. And then if it has a morph, you can flip it over, basically at instant speed, because it's a special action, and you can't interrupt it and you can't respond to it because special actions are stinking stupid. But that's a whole other conversation.
I have a morph card right here.
Yeah. Very, very nice.
It's a Pringle.
Yeah, you missed me showing off my Pringle. Yeah,
oh, that's pretty Pringle.
Freaking annoying.
Yummy, yummy, yummy.
So yeah, so Brad, I think you kind of mentioned two of those things right there. I don't know. I don't think we just, to me, I don't think we have enough. Obviously, we don't have enough information, but I don't think we've got any information to be able to deduce what that even means.
So up until Magic Mirror was spoiled, I thought that the hexagon without the border or without
the flourish
that was around it, I thought those were instant speed playable. But after I saw Magic Mirror, it's like, no, that can't be the case.
Well, I mean, it could be, because I mean, before that we saw Hades. We saw Hades. Hades was before Magic Mirror.
Yeah,
right.
Hades and Dragonfire were before, and so that's the reason I thought, okay, so we've had characters with Flash in Magic. There's been other games that will allow you to play a character on another player's turn. So I kind of thinking, okay, this might be possible, but I don't think I don't remember I can't remember if I've ever seen it be able to play an item at instant speed unless it's been really recently.
Vidalcan Orrery, you can play anything at it at Flash.
There's a couple artifacts that have
there's
flash.
plenty.
There's plenty now, yeah.
Right, and that's mostly where I was going. Is I was just kind of curious as to your train of thought and kind of just kind of see where you were coming from. So that makes sense.
That's the only ones I can think of. The ones that we've mentioned. The only.
I mean, it's still. I mean, to be fair, it's still a possibility.
Yeah.
I don't think it's likely, but it is still a possibility, regardless of how likely it is or not. I mean, I don't think that's the case. It's just, dude, I don't know what else could it be. Like, what could it be? Just so stinking interesting. Now, the other thing.
Oh,
go ahead, Brad.
The other thing that I thought about was uniqueness. All the other characters, up until we saw today, up until we saw the healing hands, all the ones with the flourish around it were characters. And so I was thinking, okay, you can only have one of these characters in play.
Not a character.
But healing hands has the flourish around it. So that kind of throws a kink in that one.
Also, I couldn't imagine you being allowed to have multiple Hades King of Olympus if you couldn't have multiple Jumbo Jakibas.
Can we talk about this, please? Can we talk about this, please? Because this has been bugging me. Okay, Sugi's not.
No, they're not legendary.
Sugi's not here to defend himself.
No, they are not legendary. They're
not legendary.
That would be the ultimate feel bad and the ultimate restriction if every character was legendary.
I certainly hope that that's not the case.
Now, hang on. Sneaky. What point are you making? What are you saying?
Oh, I was just joking. I was just, from when you first started the stream, I said no, they're not legendary. But get to whatever you actually wanted to ask.
Okay, so my point, what I wanted to say was, I do not think you are going to be able to have two. What's the name of the card? Aurora. Okay, you are not going to be able to have two Aurora Dreaming Guardians on your field at the same time. It's not going to happen. You can't do it. Okay, I know I said before that I don't like making speculations, but you listen to me. Okay, all you people out there. Hang on. Here. Let me do this. Okay, you can. All right. You cannot. You can't do it.
Yes,
You're not going to be able to do two Aurora Dreaming Guardians on field at the same time.
Yes,
it's not going to happen.
Yes, can.
There we go. You heard it here first.
So we were having that conversation. I was accurate.
Yes. Correct. In all seriousness though, so it to me it's not going to make sense. It won't make sense thematically, and within what we don't know enough of the mechanics. We don't know enough of the mechanics to say it will work or won't work in the mechanics. I will say the one thing we do know is shift, right? Because shift says you can play this card on top of your other. So good example. Let's look at Aurora. Shift, you may pay 3 to play this on top of one of your characters named Aurora. Okay. When we see shift, I mean, we saw that from D23, right? That is clear indication, that there are going to be other Stitch characters, not necessarily Stitch and then the sub name, whatever Stitch was, Rockstar. Yeah. So to me, that screams we're going to have other characters named Stitch, but with a different name. So I believe you will be able to have 2 different Stitch characters on field, just not to Stitch Rockstar. Essentially, that's what I think. Because again, when you see Aurora, at least in the first set, I don't think they're going to want you to be able to, because now you're in a lock. without a
I
board
mean,
wipe.
it's not.
You're
I mean,
you're out of luck.
you can
without-
still
without a board
challenge.
wipe.
You can
And
still
without a
challenge.
challenge.
That's true. That is
You
true.
can still
Oh.
challenge them, so that's not really
Yeah.
a problem. You
That's
just can't dragon fire them.
Well, we think
Yeah.
because again, we don't know anything about challenging.
Well,
think.
the
Well, it
card
says that it
says
can
the
be
card
challenged.
says you can challenge.
No.
Yeah.
I understand, but what I'm saying is we don't know anything about the challenge mechanic. Is all I'm saying.
Right.
That's true.
You can challenge it, but what does that mean? You know what I mean?
That means you challenge it.
Okay, but explain how challenging works, Knife.
Okay, so
Sure.
when you choose to challenge your opponent's character, then you enter this phase called challenging, and that's when challenging occurs.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
I like that.
So-
Very well done.
Spring.
So
Spring.
the active player chooses one of their characters to challenge an opposing character, at which point they're classified as challenging and challenged. They will then exchange damage based off their attack and their defense modifier. And should one of their defense modifiers go to 0, they will be banished.
Can you point me to where that's mentioned in the rules?
What
Well, we can we can infer it from a variety of different sources.
Okay, but that's my whole point. That's and this has been my point for months.
But it's
go ahead.
There's no way that certain cards interact with the way that their rules text are if it works in any other way.
That's not necessarily true. My whole point is you could very well be right, but you don't know that for a fact.
That's
you
fair.
Don't.
It's a very
point.
Correct.
You also don't know
it's not
that
100%.
top left corner is
It's like a
resources.
90%. That's true.
Correct. Exactly. Welcome to the party. That's what I've been saying for months.
But back to your legendary thing.
Yes.
So your thing is like from a lore perspective, it doesn't make sense. But here's the thing.
With the lore too, so
right. Yeah. But so the thing with that is these aren't the characters aren't the actual characters. They're magical constructs that we've summoned based off of a drawing. I can draw the same thing twice.
Mm-hmm. Again, I saw the same video you did, right? So
Yeah,
I get
I'm just
it.
saying.
I get it. It's just before we have my whole point is there's a lot of people. There's
We 100% don't know anything.
Right. It's just and that's my whole thing. I feel like guys, I
Yeah.
feel like I'm the one who says it until I'm blue in the face. And like people look at me like I'm crazy. Like we don't know anything. I get everyone.
Okay.
We are all speculating and a lot like Sneaky, what you just said about challenging, a very well-reasoned deduction. Right.
Yes, absolutely. Deduction. It's nothing is known.
Right. You can
Everything
get
we
99.
know is deduced.
And
Unless it comes out of Knives' mouth.
He's not wrong.
Yeah.
Nothing's funnier though than your video where it says, "What the bleep is?" And I was like, "What?" I heard that. I was like, "Oh my god, he's blaming himself already."
Oh my goodness, I am. Oh, thank you for watching my videos. That's awesome.
I'm like, you guys, I'm digging for info. Get the shovel.
So yeah, that's where I'm at. I will say I will be very surprised if we're going to be able to have on our field 2 characters with the exact same name and subname. Again, mostly based off of all of my experience playing card games. I'll be very, very interested. I mean, if we can, all right, we can do it. That's going to be allowable in the rules. Whatever they say it is, that's the way it is.
Spring.
Right.
What Knives, how upset is your wife with you about that pigeon mask?
Oh, so she's allergic to latex.
Oh, jeez. Please tell me you're joking right now. Sometimes like I don't know what to believe.
Yeah.
When Knives says a thing. When Knives says a thing, I have to filter it through. Okay, but Knives said it. Is this legit or is this just not?
But
Hold on, let me
also,
get the play
Knives
card.
said it, so it's probably true.
Yeah.
Also, Knives tried to total party wipe our entire D&D
I did not
party
try. I succeeded.
on our third session. 3 people that have never played D&D before.
4.
Whatever.
And I didn't
Now-
try. I succeeded.
Now
That's
we
fair.
do have a question, another question from Alex. Says, what is the max amount of cards you want to be active? How many chapters of 200 card set should be active at one time? So he's mostly asking about like rotation.
8.
Okay, so Sneaky, you're saying you want to see 8, so 2 years worth of sets being legal.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, this is kind of 2 questions in one. If we're going to have a rotating format, right? Now, Knive, you say 4?
4. 1 year.
Okay. All right. I don't know how I feel about rotating formats. I don't know. I mean, I like it. I like the idea. I would like to see an eternal format. That's just me, though. What'd you say, Knife?
I said one could say it's standard.
Okay.
I need
All right. So Brad, as our 40 game veteran and LGS owner, what are your thoughts? Rotating or eternal?
Why not both?
I mean, if you have rotating, you're gonna have an eternal format.
100%. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I like the power level of older formats, but I also like the ability to play more of my collection. But I think it's difficult to do a fully legacy based game. Of course, I know Yu-Gi-Oh's been doing it forever. But Lord, I would hate.
But people like to play GOAT format, though.
True. I honestly, I like having both options. I like right now in Flesh and Blood, it's an eternal format, but you still have the living legend system in place where certain heroes are living legends out. And yeah, some of those were broken, but I'm ready to actually break out Chain because he was fun. A little too consistent, but fun. So I think there will be some sort of rotation. I don't think it'll be 1 year. I think it's got to be a minimum of 2 years, where there's 2 years worth of sets in the system before you go to year 3, and then now the first year comes off. But I think you have to have systems in place for both an eternal. Hey, everything's legal, but we may have to ban some stuff. Unfortunately, hopefully that it will happen eventually. It does in every game, but yeah, I think you have to have both options, honestly.
And if there's not an eternal format officially, there will be.
As we say, just make one. I mean,
yep. Nothing is stopping you from playing the game the way you want to play it.
That's right.
Ever. And that is one of the best things about tabletop games is you can play however you want. Can't really do that with video games necessarily. But tabletop games, you can do it however you want. All right. I think Bradley has to leave us for the night. Is that correct, sir?
Yeah, I got a bolt, gentlemen.
All right. Well, Bradley, it was very nice to have you here. Thanks for stopping by. Where can people find your stuff?
So I have a YouTube channel where I was for our store. It's listed as AD Gaming. My game store is in Tennessee at adgaming.net, and we sell on TCG Player, so it's not hard to find us at all. there will be Lorcana singles on that website as soon as we get product and get it in. So that's down the line, but we're planning for it.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks again for stopping by, Brad, and we'll hope to talk to you again a little bit later, sir. All right.
All right. You guys have a good night.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.
All right. What did you say, Sneaky?
Adios.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I
heard the same thing, Dan. I heard the same thing.
Oh, what did it sound? Okay, no. Okay, whatever. Send in chat what it sounded like.
I got you.
Oh.
It's a polite farewell.
It is. But that's what I heard.
It's better than like bleep off, you know.
I would love for you to just tell that to somebody, Knife. Hello, bleep off.
Not say the word, just say bleep.
No, yes, exactly.
Yes, specifically bleep. Yes.
Specifically bleep. Hello, nice to meet you. Now bleep off. No, but you say it in the politest way possible.
Yeah. Captain Hook,
yell.
bleep off.
Exactly. Okay, there was one other thing, and this makes sense given what we think we know about pips, or excuse me, lore. I mean,
pips.
it's lore. Like, it's officially lore now, correct?
But it's pips.
But they're pips.
But they're pips.
All right, whatever you guys want to call it, I'm fine with whatever you guys want.
You can call pips whatever you want to call them, but they're called pips.
Now, all right. So if we look
Mm-hmm.
at, let's go again, window. Okay. Now they're gonna continue to just cover all this stuff, right? The right,
Well, of
right?
course they are,
100%.
because they're trolls just like me.
But if you notice the side of the card, from what I have seen, so we look here, healing glow. It looks like it's pretty consistent color and shading all the way up to the edge.
I wouldn't know. I'm shade blind.
Go back to magic mirror. It looks the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
Okay.
if we go to look at Jumba, is a new one ish. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like, let's actually do this. Okay. The shading is a little bit different. It gets lighter when there's the pips and they have behind it. If we go back, let's look at, this is an old one, so I believe the new ones.
I think
they do have from what I saw, I saw shading kind of like this, where it's lighter to the right, so we don't see that difference of shading here.
Correct.
So I think
I'm trusting you guys.
What's that?
I'm trusting you guys on this.
Okay, you got it.
I can't see anything.
So I don't think we're gonna see pips for these items or actions.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm seeing. Sneaky, what do you think?
I agree. I wouldn't expect to see lore pips on anything except for characters.
So again, that's just another piece of kind of evidence, not because again, it's not really evidence, right? You know, we're seeing it, that kind of leads us to believe that they're not going to be there. So
yeah, I think if an action, I'm not so sure about items, but I think if an action interacts with lore in any way, shape, or form, it'll be like the text of, it'll be the ability of the card.
Right. It'll be like one time thing, which will be very interesting. Man, I want to know. Oh, you know what? There was another thing. There was something on the back of the box. Okay. And I'm going to see if you sent that.
Yeah, did you want one like of the actual box?
Was it revealed from Traverse Tavern?
I don't know if it was revealed from Traverse Tavern. I don't know. Somebody said something in chat. I think it was Cabled. Let me see. Cable, did you say something? Oh goodness. I don't know.
Mushu just tweeted 8 minutes ago. I've got a dream that I'll make an accurate Lorcana card prediction.
Also, partly why I don't even try.
See, this is like this is one of the best times for a card game like Lorcana, where we don't know anything, and yet there's a bunch of people making content of just pure speculation. And then we have Dan over here trying to ruin all the fun by saying we don't know anything. And
hey, man, any publicity is good publicity, right? Hey, I'm covering the base of we don't know anything. Y'all are covering every other base, and then I've got my own lane, right? And now there's 50 other different lanes of, you know.
When are we going to get our pigeons from Bolt Lorcana? When?
Yes, Cabled. I'm trying to find your quote about going on quests. Yes. And then where did you see that? Where did you see that?
Oh, that's from the OG Polygon article.
Yeah.
Is it?
Polygon
Is that
article.
from?
Yep. I am going to get that right now for you.
Yeah.
Because I am an awesome person.
Send it to me, and then I'll pull it up. And then we can show it on stream here.
Disney will launch. That was August 30th, y'all.
Dude, that's crazy, man.
It's like gather something, assemble your team from your station.
That was like forever ago, y'all.
Go on quests and gain lore. Something.
Yeah.
I had no idea y'all existed 6 months ago.
100%.
How crazy is that?
I'm still not sure Knives isn't some kind of simulacrum.
I am Ryan Miller's younger clone.
Okay. Where
you heard it here first.
Where in this article? Where am I looking exactly? I will find it.
If you just Control F and type in quest, it should go straight there.
That is so much easier.
Maybe it's not this article.
LeBarf just mentioned me on something.
Who?
Oh, yeah. Now I understand. Never mind. We're good.
Oh yeah, Princess Aurora wants to say hello to you. We have Princess Aurora in chat.
Hello.
Just so you know, she is awake. She is awake. Okay.
I also like my classic rock bands.
Oh yes.
Hello, Princess Aurora. How are you? I love your card.
60s band,
you look
the Turtles.
fancy.
You should. 1960.
Turtles are okay, but pigeons are better.
Okay, I'm gonna find exactly what I'm looking for.
While Dad's talking about this,
yeah, you talk. Go ahead, Knive.
How's it going? How's it going? How did you have a good nap?
Princess Aurora, you have you've got a fan here.
I mean, she's saying my name a lot. I'm assuming I have a fan. It's cool to have a Disney princess as a fan. It's pretty cool.
Also, Cable, what was the quote, dude? Let me know what that quote was.
The birds.
Oh, it's from the It's not the Polygon. It's the Dicebreaker article. I got it right here.
Dicebreaker.
Okay.
Dicebreaker.
I'm sorry I lied to you, Dan. It was totally on purpose.
I thought it was the same one too. Here's the link.
Okay, let me get that link. Oh my word, Knife. What are you doing, man? Oh goodness gracious.
Don't worry, they're basics. The Beatles. I am too young for the Beatles, although I know that my grandmother tried to break into their hotel once. Climbed a fire escape to visit their room. That's a fun story that she would be so embarrassed.
Dude, what? It's not here.
Doesn't he have some kind of anecdote? Is it not the Dicebreaker?
Of course, that's
in our games, 2 Lumineers trying to show who's the best Lumineer. The card represents characters that you put together from your team, from your Lumineer station, and send them on quests to gain.
Of course, that's on the assumption I have a grandmother.
It's under.
All right.
So how does Lorcana play?
Oh, you know what? It would very much help, Dan, if you would scroll the length of the article, my friend.
Reading the
Listen,
article explains the article.
I just Control F helps, man. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it 100% does. All right, here we go. So, how does Lorcana play? Players take on this role called an Illumineer. An Illumineer is someone who has the magic of Lorcana. They can use magical inks to bring characters from the pages out to life. Like many trading card games, a huge part of the fun is putting together the combos and cards and increase powerful abilities that go together and then battling your opponent. In our game, it's 2 Illumineers trying to show who's the best Illumineer. The cards represent characters that you've put together from your team that you summon from your Illumineer station, and you send them on quests to gain lore. Okay. All right. You send them on quests to gain lore. So you tap them, and then they gain lore.
Not tap, exert.
It's tap.
It's exert. I'm tapping.
But you're right. I'm right.
Tapping.
You're right. Oh, dude, I love that land, man. The Phyrexian lands just look so dope. So okay. The question is going to be, though, how often do you need to do it, and how many times?
You need to do what?
What do you mean?
Exert. Send them on a quest to gain lore. How many
you
times?
Like to win?
Yes.
The amount of times required to do so.
Yes.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Again, like this is like
you
a
don't
lot
know
of
how
these
to play
kinds,
the game, Dan.
I don't know, Knive. I don't. Correct. Knive, I don't know if you were here when we were talking. I saw a video from DM Armada comparing this to Keyforge. So there's a lot of signs that this is going to be very similar to Keyforge. And I'm kind of right there. I kind of think it's correct. So
I can see it. I do not have a solid theory.
All right, later, Cable. Thanks for hanging out.
Bye, Cable. Love you.
Okay, so now he literally did say it. But that was you.
Mm-hmm.
What were you gonna say? What were we gonna say, Knife? Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I don't have a solid theory for this yet.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna say it blew to my face. We don't know how to play this game.
Dude, I'm drinking water here, man. Don't make me spit this out. But hey, man, we're on the same page. All right, that's what I like. I like it.
Well, at least you all don't know how to play Lorcana yet.
The memes, Memian. We're Memian.
Is Cassie in here again? Can you just shut him down, please?
Hi, Cassie.
Cassidy.
How you doing?
Whatever.
Hey,
whatever her name is.
I'm so excited,
Cassidy.
Cassidy. I'm so excited for karaoke next week. I'm so hyped for you. It's gonna be awesome,
bro. I know you don't live in Seattle.
You don't know that.
Pretty sure it's not Seattle.
You don't know where I live.
I have a good idea.
You have a good idea, but again, you don't know how to play it. You don't know. It's just all speculation at this point.
It is. We are speculating. We
Or
are
you know.
speculating where Nice lives. This is fair.
I could just work from home. You never know.
Yeah.
Where's the ban button?
They could do like some kind of like online karaoke thing. I mean, no one says you have to go to the bar together. I mean,
Exactly, right?
Well, listen, everything's online after
also, Knife is
2020.
Like, so you know,
12. Wow.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. He couldn't get into a bar to do karaoke anyways. So
Wow.
Exactly.
Okay. I see how it is.
It's like I see what's going on here.
Pick on the guy that's half y'all's age. I get it.
Where's Teddy? We need our child.
Teddy's on my team now.
All right. Well, Is
what
there?
were we
Is there
talking
any-
about?
Yeah.
Win condition. Win condition.
Yes.
I'm gonna keep touting my memory gauge, my lore gauge theory. So
Oh, that it's constantly shifting.
I like that theory.
yeah,
It's a good theory. I like
That's
it.
a tug of war. Tug
It's
of
wrong,
lore.
but I like it.
Oh, look at him there. The tug of war.
Tug of Lord. I like it. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Do you think because again, I think from a designer standpoint, they want stuff to make sense within the context of the game that they're making.
Mhm.
Do you think a tug of war would make, again, I'm not a designer, right? But I after talking to many, I like picking their brain and kind of see where they're coming from, right? But do you think that it would make more sense within the context of the game that they're making, that it would be more of a tug of war versus first person 2X lore? Do you think one makes more sense within the context of the game over another, or not necessarily?
I guess it kind of depends on what your definition of what the best Illumineer is. Since that seems to be the goal here. And so I think like a tug of war type mechanic makes sense for that, like showing that you can overcome whatever they've got to throw at you consistently, kind of thing, rather than just a race. But I mean, both make sense.
Yeah, both do make sense because like the idea of like the best Illumineer, my mind goes to who can tell the better story.
Mm-hmm.
And
that
could be either a tug of war or a race.
Yeah, it's like epic rap battles of Lorcana. Epic lore battles of the Illuminary.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh my gosh, how long has it been since they released a new one? Anyway, off topic.
You know what? I'm very curious because they've been around for a long time. Let me check this out real quick. Epic.
It's gonna be like yesterday.
If it was yesterday, then I missed out.
Oh boy. ERB 14.9 million subscribers.
Last one was 3 months ago. Lara Croft versus Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, they got 3 months. Let me go to videos, and then the one before that was a year ago. Wow, that man, I remember watching those. So good. So
they made me say my first swear word.
Jeez,
because I didn't know it was a swear word.
What? What are you talking about?
Always
I'll tell you
an
later.
anecdote. Always an anecdote.
Always an anecdote.
I am a man of history.
Stick around. All right, guys. Sneaky, do you have any final thoughts of anything we didn't talk about before we get out of here?
No, nothing that we didn't talk about. I'm more excited about the Healing Word card than I am Magic Mirror, although I am excited for item cards. I guess that could be like one thing to talk about. I've been talking about like equipment cards, expecting them for a while. So like hopefully this like kind of paves the way towards equipment, because I think that'd be cool. I like to be able to like equip someone with like giant brief little Taylor shears, but yeah. Oh, it's an item thing.
Interesting.
Whether it's like a separate card type or if it's a subcategory of items, just like they are with artifacts in.
If they're a thing, I would assume they would be an item and then a subtype. Is what I would think.
Yeah. So,
however, looking at the card Magic Mirror, they only have item on it, and that's right in that center, right? So it's not like a Glimmer where it had the main name and then the sub name underneath it, and then they had the actual type, right? The type line. It could just be an additional type, so item, equipment.
Yeah,
could be that, which would make sense. So I don't know. Be interesting.
Yeah. Oh, it's a thought. But yeah, Healing Word gave us a lot to think about with persistent damage, and then also the swirly. It's gonna bother me. Yes.
Same.
So.
Same. I don't think we're gonna know that until they say anything about gameplay and the rules.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I think.
All right. And then before sounds like we're bouncing. Before we bounce.
Yes.
Bets. Are we gonna get a card on Monday for President's Day or Tuesday for Mardi Gras? Or both?
Oh, we could get a Princess and Frog card for Mardi Gras.
I tweeted him about it to remind him it was Mardi Gras. I made sure to tweet. Everyone go like the tweet.
How
and
many
the Tiana
weeks,
show's coming out.
Hang on. How many weeks until spring when we think
6.
20 days? Yeah.
6 weeks?
6 weeks. Because
we've spoiled how many cards so far?
15.
Okay. So if we said 6 weeks ish.
Yeah, 6 weeks because they're going to treat Q2 as spring. So April, May, June, not March 20th.
Okay. How many cards have we been averaging a week? We've been averaging one, correct?
Or less. Yeah.
1 or less, yeah.
Okay. So if we have 6 weeks left until spring, that's 6 cards. Give or take 3. So 6 plus or minus 3. Oh, no, I don't think it'd be minus. I think it would be plus. So 1. I think
what would you do for President's Day?
If we get 1, it's just going to be 1. And it would. Today was kind of out of the blue. I think today was out of the blue.
We got 2 this week.
Right, we did. But again, are they going to keep introducing more cards that where it's just everyone's asking more and more questions and we don't have any answers to? I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Didn't we get 2 the same week for Dragonfire and Jumbo? Weren't they the same week?
No, those were a week apart.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
I think the next card they're going to reveal is going to have something to do with songs.
Keep going back to songs, man.
I'm telling you, it is a missed opportunity if they do not do songs.
Well, everything's a missed opportunity.
But like a major missed opportunity. Like if someone goes to you and goes, "Hey, there's a Disney trading card game, but there's no songs."
That wouldn't mean much to me, in all honesty.
You are insane.
I mean, all right.
It wouldn't mean much to me either. It wouldn't mean anything to me, to be totally honest.
They could run them like sagas from Magic.
I hate sagas, dude. I hate sagas.
They are amazing.
Do not like them at all. They're so slow. I don't like them.
There's so much value.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I mean, that depends on the card.
Exactly.
You can say that about any card.
Correct.
One with nothing. So much value.
Correct. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like I'd be, as long as it was executed well and done very well, I think it could be very interesting. But I would rather see nothing than it done poorly. I would rather see nothing than it done poorly and then make me not want to play the game because they invested too much into this one thing that just takes away from the enjoyment of the game.
That's fair. I can see that.
Absolutely.
I just feel like it would be a bummer if they didn't put the songs in there, because like a lot of people like Disney because of the songs.
Okay,
but along with the characters.
I don't think people are going to play or not play it because they're song cards, guys. You know.
Yeah,
I agree, but it's
they can also reference the songs and other stuff.
They could. I just feel like it would be a cool thing. Maybe they could be enchantments or something like that.
Well, that's what. In all honesty, when I heard it being the idea being tossed around, that was kind of what I thought it would be. It could either be some sort of permanent, like an enchantment, or it's going to be just we're going to reference it on an action card. It's an instant or sorcery.
And like that's okay too, I guess. I can see them making a song card type.
Yeah, I don't know. But because the other thing too is kind of, Sneaky was going off of the those
the lore
articles and
aspect.
kind of what the lore,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if they're being brought out into in the Lorcana world. I mean, I don't know. I will be very interested to see if it's a thing.
Yeah, I mean that is a good point. Like, since the whole concept is that we're drawing stuff. I mean, I guess you could draw out sheet music and it like come off the page and start singing. I mean, that's an option.
Yeah.
But
I think it's mostly because I come from the musical background. And
I mean,
music,
so do I. But again, I'm not combined. Like, for me, they're kind of separate. But I mean, I understand where you're coming from. Like, I get it. But
Let It Go song, Carter bust.
Well, but the other thing too is we're bringing them out from their world into ours. We're not going into their world.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
So if we were going into their world, then it 100% makes more sense. Like, you're there when Elsa is singing Let It Go. Like, that's a possibility. Like you are in Kingdom Hearts, right? You were there when they were going through the entire sequence, right? But now we're taking them out of their world into ours. So it doesn't make sense from that standpoint, but doesn't mean it can't be a thing.
Oh yeah, I agree.
So I think the easiest thing is, like Steggy says, song names as action cards work for me. That's the easy. I think that's the easy way out. And that's the easy way out.
Under the sea.
Yeah, I do think that's the easy way out. I'm not gonna lie. I would like to see it done. I want it done well. I want it done well.
That's fair.
The one thing, the thing that would make more sense to me is like a Pokemon Stadium card, something like that.
I'd be down for that.
It's on board in its effect that is affecting the entire, board. Which again, that's also like an enchantment. It's the same type of effect.
Yeah, I feel like that'd be more of a location card kind of thing.
Could be, which is a Pokemon Stadium. Is that what you're saying? Can you explain what you mean again? Sorry.
Oh, yeah. So like locations could be like Captain Hook's ship, Pirates get Challenger 1.
Right. Yep.
Just stuff like that.
In all honesty, though, I've said that from a while. I would love to see locations. Locations.
Locations.
I would love to see that. What do you guys think? Do you think we'll ever see something like that?
I think that the number of locations of value in Disney IPs is probably a lot lower than even songs. So that's kind of like my only concern with it. I mean, once you start throwing in like Dreamborn, Floodborn type stuff, and they could like reimagine stuff, then you might be able to open it up a lot more. But that's my only concern.
I get what you're saying. I disagree. Knive, what do you think?
I think the idea of locations is great. Just like, honestly, they can use every single square inch of Disney property and Disney IP, and it would work.
But regardless, I get I get what Sneaky was saying. I think there are people out there who look at the Disney IP and think it is an endless well of IP and years worth of ideas. And then there are those who look at it and say it's not limited. Excuse me. It's not limitless. It's limited. So,
well, of course.
But if you're asking me, I look at it from the standpoint of I think it actually I think it is limitless. I really, really do. Because you can have one character. Again, you look at Mulan. You know how many different Mulan cards you could theoretically have?
Oh, yeah.
You know, you could have 50 cards that are Mulan from that movie.
Yeah,
from that
storyboard
first
yeah.
movie.
100%.
Right. Yeah, right. Like you said, there's that Storyborn, Floodborn. There's the
I mean,
the creative potential is just so crazy. I think.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on like how deep and like how like they want to go. So like I'm trying to think of like say for Aladdin, you got like the Cave of Wonders. You've got like you could do Agrabah as a whole, or like just the
How many,
palace,
you know how
or
many
like
different
a couple
locations
of
there
stuff.
are in the Cave of
And
Wonders?
there's like, no, I don't. That's what I'm
But
saying.
that's what I'm
Like,
saying,
like it's like how deep. Like if you want to go into like the brothel, like sure you could do every single scene as location, but like I don't know, that just feels like it doesn't hold any value. You know what I mean? Versus, but
what do you mean hold any value? How so?
I don't know. Like, do I care about getting a brothel from the Aladdin card? Like, does it mean anything to me? Not
mean
really.
Again, mean anything?
Like,
how? I mean, if the effect is busted, it'll probably mean something.
Oh yeah, 100%. But I mean, like, just like I guess just from like a Disney appreciator or something. Like, do I care about that particular aspect of the Disney songs and stories? No,
I don't think that matters because again, the point is we're making a game, right? It is going to appeal to those collectors, right? But I don't know. I mean, I get what you're saying. I get where you're coming from, but I don't know. I think there's more there than you think is kind of all I'm saying. That's all.
Yeah.
So, Knive, what do you think? We're kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel right now. I know.
About what?
About what?
Yeah.
Well, we were continuing the locations thing.
Oh, continuing the location things. Yeah, they're cool.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Now, do you have any final thoughts here?
Yes. Lorcana is going to be great. We are like 6 weeks away from spring, which means that we are 6 weeks away from knowing nothing quicker.
True.
According to Dan.
True statement.
We're gonna get the rule set, and Dan's gonna go, but we don't know how to play the game well.
No, I'm not gonna say that.
We don't know how to play the game well. I will point out that in that little Dicebreaker article, it does say that we have lots of plans that are going to roll out the gameplay. So, like, anybody that's expecting like just like a drop, it's not going to be a drop.
No, it's going to be scheduled.
We're gonna continue be getting drip fed stuff. Like, this is how lore works. This is how resources work. This is how this works.
I would much prefer just give me one drop. Just let me know how stuff works. The cards thing, that's fine. I get that, but I worry that you're going to tick too many people off when it comes to that. I'd be very interested if people are going to not pay attention. If it's like, here this week it's a paragraph, you come back next week for paragraph 2, and then continue that. I'd be interested to know because I mean people like us, we're going to stick around. Like doesn't matter. But I'd be very interested to know if people are going to drop because of stuff like that. I don't know.
Oh, I know there's a non-zero number of people who are very upset with Ravensburger right now because they haven't dropped the rules. They haven't dropped anything of substance.
Yeah. The haters are hilarious.
But that is, I mean, that's a legitimate risk, though. It's 100% legit. You are turning off potential consumers, and that's a business decision, right? Like, what I do not like, for me, I do not like being in an echo chamber when it's, and we did a podcast about the negatives of being positive. When all you ever hear is, "Oh, this is awesome. Oh, this is good." You're not being around negative feedback. And that can be to the detriment of yourself.
Absolutely. I think, and that's why I strive to be like very honest with my thoughts on Ravensburger. And like so far, it's mostly positive.
and that's why I don't like when, you know, there's negative feedback and then it's all, oh, just don't pay, they're just a hater. Well, no, they're just saying they could be, right? That's a possibility, but don't immediately dismiss something because it's just, oh, they're saying something negative, therefore they must be a hater.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
I'm sure there's plenty of people who call me a hater.
Yeah.
Knives like, yeah, I'm one of them.
It's okay. It's
Dan's like, y'all are over here hating on my legendary concept. Like,
oh man,
it's okay, Dan. We all have the right to be wrong. It's okay.
Yeah, just like, yeah, never mind. I'm not.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. I can take it. I'm dishing it. I can take it.
I
bought a freaking pigeon mask, Dan. I am in. I am in on this.
Yeah. Anyway. All right. Well,
I'm gonna head out.
Yeah. Thank you both for coming.
On that note.
On that note, nothing is real. Everything is fake. Have fun at Disney. And
all right, there it goes. All right, there goes.
I don't even know how to leave. Oh, there's the leave button.
All right.
Later, Dan.
Good rest of your weekend, dude. Take care.
You too.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. That was fun. We had a blast. I'm gonna finish off my rants here. I think for the most part, I got lambasted. I do know, I can tell you, if Jim was here, he'd 100% back me up on most of the things that I was saying. For the most part, I tend to be very even keeled. I tend to be very wait and see. And I think part of it too is I've been burned, don't want to be burned. So I'm very slow, steady, be patient. Let's wait and see what happens, and so on and so forth. So yeah, I don't want to get my hopes up and then them just be dashed. But the other thing is I do not like being in echo chambers. I don't like it because it's not conducive to growth. Not conducive to really anything. So when you hear something negative, guys, do not immediately dismiss it as someone being a hater, because it could very well be legitimate feedback. Be open to that. And that is just a general rule I think every single one of us should take into account. Think about that. I mean, tonight was fun. Like, you know, I had my thoughts, and kind of we just had a good time tonight. So, yeah, so this week, you know, we had Magic Mirror, we had Healing Hands, I think. Excuse me, sorry guys. But yeah, that was the name, I believe, Healing Hands. And yeah, so I don't particularly like, and we're only going to go through this once, right? We're only going to go through this once. The standpoint of not knowing how this game works, and then being given cards in a context where we don't know how things work, right? We're only going to go through that once. Once we get through spring, right? Once we get through to Gen Con, essentially, then we will have all the information we need until a rule change, right? For the most part. So I'm anxious like everybody is. I'm anxious just like everybody to get through this. All right. So Aurora, I know you've said this many, many times. So here, we'll put it on now. Yes, I know you're a musician. You have an amazing voice. You sing Once Upon a Dream, I believe. I think that's the name of the song. Yes, your voice is beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah. So yeah, you've said that multiple times, and I apologize for not throwing that up on the screen earlier. So yeah, so the biggest thing that I am very interested about is what that flourish means. Very curious. very, 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 very curious of what that means. So, yeah, you know what, guys, I want to play some games this weekend. I want to hang out. I want to have some fun. And you have a song that samples Zombie. Okay, all right, that should be very interesting. Yeah, but that's kind of all I got for you tonight. Tonight was fun. We'll see what happens next week if we do another stream like this, or we just do some games. But you know, it's been, boy, guys, it's been 3.5 hours. And yeah, so look forward to next week. Like we mentioned earlier, look for that interview with Justin Gary. Should be dropping. It's going to drop early. I believe it's going to drop on Monday for the Kickstarter of Ascension Tactics Inferno. So look for that. Should be fun. And yeah, thanks everybody for hanging out tonight. Had a blast. Had a lot of fun. Thank you to everybody who joined me on stream tonight. Had a blast talking to each and every one of you. Especially when I disagree. That's always when conversations are fun, because I learned something new, right? So thanks everybody for hanging out. And that's all I got for you tonight. It's Mordecai. You are welcome. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. So, all right, that's all we got for you this week. It's like I'm ending a video. It's just today. So thanks everybody. And we'll catch you in the